I am Chelselia Cookie Payne. I am the founder of Pain and Glory Incorporated. We are a nonprofit organization located right here in metropolitan Atlanta. Our goal is to empower you to impact others. We stand upon three major platforms. Please forgive me, allergies are no joke. We stand upon three major platforms. Those platforms are domestic violence awareness and prevention, women's health and wellness, which is why we're here today, mind, body, and soul, and also mental health and ministry, where we work to erode the stigma surrounding mental health. So today we stand firmly upon the platform of women's health and wellness. Our theme this year is as it is every year, it's mind, body, and soul, but we are going to restore her mind, heal her body, and revive her soul. And so that's exactly what we're going to do. We have some of the most amazing guest speakers who are going to be with us today that are going to do exactly what I said a moment ago, empower you to impact. And we could not be happier. We know how important women's health is. We know how important it is. But then again, do we really know? Because oftentimes we let things go. We kind of take care of everybody else. But when it comes to us, our individual selves, we'll put ourselves on the back burner and push everyone up. Which, okay, that sounds great. But the myth of the strong Black woman is just that. It is a myth because, truth be told, if we try to hold tight to that moniker, if we try to wear that crown, that is a little too heavy to wear. Because when do you have to not be, when you get the opportunity to not be strong? When do you have the opportunity to just be? And even the strongest of people, fictional or not, Wonder Woman had her issues. We have fictional, real people who we look up to, issues. When is the time that we get to be us? When do we get to heal? And let me do this real quick. I'm going to, so that our audience can hear better. Let me make sure that I get us some sound right quick. Here we go. That way, our online viewers can hear me a little better. How's that? Beautiful. Beautiful? Awesome sauce. Awesome sauce. But I do ask the question again, when do we have the opportunity to just be, not having to wear the crown of the strong Black woman? It sounds real nice. It sounds beautiful when we call each other queen. It sounds great. You know, we've seen the beautiful pictures and we've seen the beautiful gifts on social media. We've seen the memes. We've seen the beautiful, even we've seen art where there's a woman wearing the crown and we call each other queen, which sounds beautiful because that's indicative of royalty. But it also is indicative of not needing any help. The princess is the one who gets taken care of. The princess is the one who gets served. The princess is the king's daughter. And since I know who I am in the kingdom, I am the daughter of my father, then that makes me a princess. I don't need to be in charge of everything and make sure everything is running right all the time. I sometimes just need to be the princess. Just the princess. It's not just for little girls, because if I am a part of God's kingdom and He is the Father, that makes me His child. I am His princess. You are a princess. So today, for the next few moments, take off the heavy, weighty, burdensome crown of being a queen just for a little bit and just be a princess for a moment. In this space, whether you are online or in this room, just be a princess for a little while. Let us serve you. You don't have to worry about anything. Just let us serve you with information, support, inspiration, hope, laughter, joy. Let us serve you. So we welcome you to the 2023 Women's Health and Wellness Expo. Thank you so much for being here. So I'm going to move out of the way because we are going to move into our first speaker, which I am elated to have. She and I had a conversation over the phone, and literally I felt as if I already knew this precious young lady before we even physically met. And that's a powerful thing because you don't often find that. We meet people and we met them. That's about as all we can say. I met them. But this young lady that I'm bringing before you, Candy Zenon. Candy is an ordained evangelist who has a master's in business and entrepreneurship and a BS in human services. She is also a certified life coach, author, and a joyous mother of 3 girls. Ms. Zion is the founder of Changing Seasons Life Coaching, where she dedicates strategies to single moms in order to help them strengthen their faith, family, and finances. Her motto is to love through it, learn from it, live after it, and emphasize on live. Here to share with us on spiritual health, our guest, Candy Zenon. Thank you, Candy.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. How's it going? I'm excited to be here because this is my first time at an event since the pandemic. So I'm happy to be amongst people. Like she said, my name is Candy Zenon, and I'm grateful to spend this Saturday with you all. I am excited about the opportunity to be here. And Miss Chelsea mentioned we had a great conversation. And I love what you just said about us being princesses for a while. Because our daddy is the king, and we're the apple of his eye. We're the treasure, and our worth is far greater than rubies. And let's vast in that. We don't have to be the strong black woman, the strong black woman. Why? We have emotions, we have feelings, we have cares, and we need to tend to that. And I salute mind, body, and spirit. Right before the pandemic, fun fact I didn't share with you, right before the pandemic, I was going to host a mind, body, spirit thing just for this exact same reason. And I was talking about loving yourself. I was trying to answer the question, loving yourself. And what does that mean? So I want to refine and define that definition of loving yourself. And I took a whole year to refine my definition. And I invite you all to listen to the speakers here today and refine your definition of loving yourself, because it goes way beyond getting our sew-ins and our nails done, right? So I am here to talk about spiritual health. Spiritual health. And I'm from a Baptist church, so I like a call and response, but I'm gonna mind my manners today. But but when I think about the spirit, and sometimes we get that confused with the soul is the seat of the emotions. The Greek word suke, the mind, the will, and the emotions, that's your soul. But your spirit is the essence of who you are. And that spirit is like energy ball that hovers right behind your rib cage. Have you ever walked into a room, or have you ever received bad news and it hit you in your stomach? Or have you ever said, I got a gut feeling? That's the essence of who you are, that spirit, that ball of energy. It connects you to God. You communicate to God. It's a force within a human being that gives the body power and energy. And that's the way that you connect and communicate to God. And like, in order to locate how strong that spirit, how in order to locate how strong you are in the Lord, the joy of the Lord is your strength. You can do a joy check, a spirit check. I'll take you back. So when you were a Christian, a very new Christian, you had the zeal, that unmitigated galls to witness to anybody who stood close to you too long. You were making disciples of men. You was running out and reaching the lost and teaching the found and being a witness to the sinners and a revelation to the saints, right? That zeal of the Lord. And you were communicating with God. You were praying. You were laying prostrate on the threshing floor. You were spending time reading your Bible. You were fasting. You were going to church. You didn't miss corporate prayer. You didn't miss a Sunday service. Why? Because you were excited. And it was feeding your spirit, and you were getting communication. And like any communication, when you're communicating with your new love, what comes with that? Favor. Favor. So with that communication, you get the heart of God. Once you get the heart of God, he opens his hands and he starts giving us, he start reminding people of our names in rooms we never stepped in. We get checks in the mail, lost money found, bills decreased and paid off, interest and income, rebates and returns, discounts and dividends. Your money just coming to us, right? Favor and blessings. And you start to pay attention to that. You start paying attention to that. And you start wondering how that happened. And you start tracing your steps. And you kind of look back, like last time I fasted 3 days, that blessing happened. Last time I read the Bible out loud for an hour, that miracle occurred. And you know what? When I got that last blessing, I just gave tithes and offering. And then we find ourselves wanting more miracles. So what we do although we're praying, we start looking back at that method. And that's what I call the manipulation, because we start looking at that method, because although we're praying, we're doing that method, and we already committed to a particular outcome. Now, whether we're willing to admit it or not, when that outcome does not occur, we get disappointed. Now, we can say it out loud, or we can keep it to ourselves, but it starts showing in our body language. We're not praying as much. We're not fasting as much. And we're no longer getting with the other saints. It becomes an option. So, but what you don't understand, or what you fail to remember, that although you did prophesy to that group of folk, that was God prophesying through you. Although you laid hands and that person got healed, that was God healing through you. It was happening through you, but it was never about you. It was never your power. So you started to question your capabilities and your prayer warrior abilities, or your ability to get a prayer through, but it was never about you. And I love what Galatians 3:3, he brings us back to, I call it that humanity check. He said in Galatians 3:3, are you so foolish? After beginning by means of the Spirit, are you now trying to finish by means of the flesh? Did that hit home to anybody? I like the New Living Translation. It's so clear. Okay, not my words, this Bible. How foolish can you be? After starting your new lives in the Spirit, why are you now trying to become perfect by your own human efforts? Ladies and gents, this hit home to me because I'm not talking to nobody else. I went through this all. I'm simply sharing my journey back to my humanity check. So I just wanted to say that that brokenness. I used to always the part about the brokenness and the fruit of the spirit. I always skipped over that because I'm like, why would I pray for brokenness? But now I understand the brokenness. It checks your ego. It lets you know that greater is He that is in you than he that is in the world. And like Michael Jackson say, we are the world. Like Merriam Dictionary said, the world is its earth and its inhabitants. So God is greater than us, and He works in us, through us. And we need that brokenness so we don't say, I did it. Kind of like when David, he wanted to fight another battle and he started counting the mighty men. It's kind of like that's what we do. He started looking to see, okay, when I won that battle, I had this many men on board. When I got that blessing, I fasted 3 days. When I got that blessing, I gave $1,000 to that ministry. We were counting our mighty men, and God had to check us. I said, no, it's not about the method. It's about the communication. Draw near to me, and I'll draw near to you. I want to invite you to reconnect. Reconnect to God. God has never left you. He would never leave you nor forsake you. He's always your Father. But He just had to give you a check, a humanity check. Yes, I'm going to do this because I love you. You're my daughter. You're my princess. All princes get, all the good gifts, what they ask their daddy for. But you have to know that He's giving it to you and through you. And it's never about you. So reconnect to God. Allow yourself to come back to your first love by communicating, fasting, praying, coming into the assembly with other believers so you're edifying and encouraging one another so that you now know that it's not about how you get the blessings. So don't pay attention to the method in which the blessing occurred or how it came, because God don't want you to commit to a method. He always wants you to keep your eyes on Him. Give yourself a start to come back. There's no condemnation in Christ. Start by confessing your sins and your transgressions. We all been there. It's okay. Keep going by casting your cares on the Lord, because you did get hurt. There was a disconnect. And you need to know that God answers your questions. I don't know where this thing came from that God does not, or you can't question God. Throughout the Bible, He said, ask, seek, knock. Keep on asking, keep on seeking, knock. Jeremiah 33:3, ask, seek, knock. He said in Psalms 20:6, I answer at the right hand. He wants you to ask. So go to God, cast your cares, and your care, that feeling that you felt when you felt that disconnect and that disappointment because that prayer was not answered. Pray about that feeling of abandonment or rejection, or God, do God care? Or is God really the Savior? What you're asking is not necessarily, is God the Savior or do God care? You're really heart crying, your heart of hearts, you want to know, do He care for me? Do He care for my cares? And He said, I care for your cares. So pray according to the word. Psalms 104, He said, enter into His gates with thanksgiving and to His courts with praise. And then we make our request known according to Hebrews 4:16. Let us therefore come boldly unto the throne of grace, that we may obtain mercy and find grace to help in our time of need. And according to James 4:8, come near to God and he will come near to you. So I invite you to come back home. Amen?
Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Amen.
Candy, thank you so much. Now, don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. So you have something that you wanted to give away.
Yes, I wanted to give away my first book, My Precious Wedding Gift, and as a door prize or however you
A gift.
a gift.
So let me ask you this, unless you had a way that you wanted to give it away.
No.
Okay, let me ask this. And so you gotta be paying attention, you gotta raise your hand quick. Who in here of our guests are single? I saw her hand go up first.
Miss Yolanda.
Oh, you already know her.
And we're both from Louisiana.
Oh, wow.
We just met.
We just met. Yeah, we
Really?
just met. Uh-huh.
Wow. How about that?
Isn't that something?
That is. Wow.
Okay.
Well, Miss Yolanda?
We don't get that camera.
Oh, no, you don't have to come up. That's it.
Okay, thank you so much, ladies.
So our spiritual health, as Candy has expressed to us, is so important. We got to remember that there's value in our spiritual health, that there's value in serving God, there's value in trusting God, right? And sometimes, as she said, it's not a matter if do we trust God or does he really care? Does he care for me? So because sometimes we have a tendency, humanity in general, have a tendency to put God in the same bucket as human man. So if human father didn't do what he was supposed to do, or let you down in any aspect at any time, when you really need God to come through for you, humanity has a tendency to, okay, I'm waiting on the other shoe to drop. I don't think I know what he's done before, but okay, God, this has already happened to me before with my dad, and I'm supposed to call you my heavenly Father. What's the difference? And sometimes we blur the lines, but the awesome part of that is that he literally, not figuratively, he literally is our heavenly Father. He literally has no comparison to the natural father. And so, Candy, thank you so much for infusing us with such moments of clarity when we're talking about our spiritual health. I really appreciate you so much. Let's clap again for Miss Candy. Now, if we're going to talk about health and wellness, we really need to talk about health and wellness. Because, listen, this thing that we have here that we're living in, we walk around in and live in every day, it's the only one we get. It's the only one we get when we leave from here, we get another body, but it's not this one. We get a heavenly body. This is it. So how we treat this is important. Why? Because we feel every issue that it has. And it affects how we communicate with others as well. If you're not feeling good, if you have a toothache, do you feel like talking to people? When your stomach is all in knots, so you're not feeling the best, do you feel like running and jogging? And Lord have mercy, ladies, if you having cramps, don't breathe. Just don't look at me. You just get away. But what if we could kind of work on that? What if we could literally do things that are natural? Because there are a lot of drugs out there. Big Pharma is called Big Pharma for a reason. There are a lot of things that we can go get prescriptions for that will placate that symptom, that issue. But what if we could not really have to deal with the issue? How about that? How about that? So I am excited to bring to you someone who's going to talk to us about our what we're putting in us. I had the opportunity to virtually meet her. Today was our first time meeting in person. Thanks, pandemic. But this is our first time. But on the flip side, thanks, pandemic, because I would have probably never met her had it not been for virtual spaces, right? So I met her virtually. And when I tell you the way that, and I'm not going to seep over into what she's going to talk about because I'll let her have all of that space because I would jack it up anyway. So let's be clear on that. But when she began to talk about just things that we can do, and what she wasn't making it harder over our heads, because sometimes you hear about things that you can do naturally, and you're like, oh, I can't. When we have time to do that, but they want you to get up and make a smoothie, but in the smoothie you got to go have 15 different ingredients. Wait a minute, what happened to just some fruit and some. But this young lady I'm going to introduce to you is so amazing. Her name is Tanika Deshawn, and if you ask her, she is better known as Sage Goddess. She can still remember the feeling of leaving the drugstore for the third time that week and feeling hopeless, picking up prescriptions for steroids for her young son. This was due to doctors not knowing whether he was suffering with asthma or allergies. I'm gonna pause right there. Take that in for a minute. Asthma, allergies. Whew. This would be the last time Tanika would be putting these harsh chemicals into her son. She went home and began researching ways to naturally heal her son using herbs. Little did she know that furthering her education by studying, little did she know that this would spark a passion in her that would lead her to furthering her education by studying under Dr. Akua Gray and earning a certificate of natural health, as well as becoming a master herbalist. This would then lead to the founding too, because they received that, the founding of Hands of Sage in 2016. Tanika has taken her knowledge of herbs and her love for tea and merged them for a successful union. Hands of Sage has since created over 10 herbal healing blends. Tanika's goal is to empower people to take their health back naturally, sip by sip. Ladies, and maybe online gentlemen, I introduce to you the healer's healer. I introduce to you Tanika Deshawn. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm sorry. Tanika Deshawn. I'm like, wait, I gotta read it. Tanika Deshawn. Thank you so much, Tanika. If you want to use the mic, you can, but if you don't want to, you have to. And just watch it step. Come on. It's going to look like a setup. Yeah.
Today. It's not
No setups for you. No setup. Thank you, my dear.
I don't know. What should we do? Should we do the mic? Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Testing.
It's not, you can.
Might help if I turn it on.
There you go.
Testing. Okay, there we go. Okay. Y'all can hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. How y'all doing? Woo! I'm like, whoa, I speak, but I stand in front of people. I'm used to being in front of the camera. And even still, I kind of fidget. So y'all forgive me. Y'all pray for my strength in the Lord. No, but good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whenever, somebody watches the broadcast. It's what he does. Of course, I'm Tanika Deshawn, favorite healer, owner of Hands of Sage. So I just want to ask a question first, because we're gonna loosen this up. We're not gonna make this weird. Come on. Everybody been on a plane before? Everybody's been on a plane, right? All right. So you know how when you first get on the plane and you're getting situated, you probably running late if you like me, so you're trying to catch your breath, you sweat, and you're sending the text messages out. Y'all can go ahead. I made the plane. I'm good. So you get to that point where the flight attendant is like, okay, can we please have your attention? And I don't know about y'all, but that's the part that I hate the absolute most. I'm like, can we just go? Okay. Now you want to rush them, right? So the flight attendant comes up and they're going through the whole, worst case scenario if the plane goes down. Once again, Not really what I want to hear as I'm just getting on the plane, but okay, let's do it. So you're getting on the plane, you're sitting down, we got the flight attendant. All right, so the flight attendant is like, here are exits. Do you want to stand by? Do you want to sit in the exit? If not, let us know. But one part that they say is that in the case of emergency, and if the air and the oxygen removes from the plane, what happens? The mask drops down, right? So what do they tell you though? They tell you to put the mask first. Come on now, that's it right there. They tell you to put your mask on first and then help somebody else. So even with something just as simple as that, how can we apply that to our everyday life and with our self-care? Are we out here putting our mask on first? 9 times out of 10, not if you a mama, an entrepreneur, if you work, a grandmama, an auntie, an uncle, a cousin, for the online folks. You 9 times out of 10 are putting the mask on for everybody else before you put it on for yourself. So the things that I basically want to talk about today is the importance of just that, self-care, putting your mask on for yourself, filling your cup up. That's a real good tea plug right there. Filling up your cup before you give it to anybody else. That's a good one. Sidebar. My grandmother used to say this all the time, and I never understood it until I got older. But old school, when you drink tea, and you drink the tea, and the fancy folk, we put the saucer underneath our cup and we sip our tea. And that's how my grandmother, she sipped her tea, she sipped her coffee, she got her saucer every morning. And they're like, Mom, do we really need the saucer under our cup? She's like, yes, because if it spills, the saucer catches what spills. Right. Same concept though. Have you ever thought about if your cup is full, right? You have an overflow in your saucer. Yes. Come on now. People should get your saucer. You have no business giving nobody your teacup. Okay? Understand? Mask first. Save your teacup for you and your saucer. You don't get nothing else from this. There we go. All right, we're just gonna move on with that. Now. All right, so today we're going to talk about the importance of self-care and how it can positively impact your life. We have that fast-paced, busy life, and we tend to neglect our own needs due to the demands of work, family, social obligations, being outside, if you will. However, taking care of ourselves is crucial in maintaining the physical and mental health and the overall well-being. So for me, one way that I do self-care and one way that I teach people self-care, obviously, is through natural health, teas, wellness, and wholeness. So what we're going to do is we're just going to simply, because as the church say, I'm not going to be before you long. We're just going to go over what I think are like the top 5 best herbs for self-care, for body, for mind, for spirit. Now I have notes because the way my brain works, it has a lot in it. So I use my notes for reference to keep me on task. So I'm not up here like the Baptist preacher. All right. So our number 1 herb, our first herb, my absolute favorite herb by default is ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is an adaptogenic herb that has been used traditionally for thousands of years in Ayurvedic medicine. It's known for its ability to help the body cope with stress, anxiety, improve the mood, improve brain function. There's also been studies that show that it helps with inflammation, helps with cholesterol, your heart health, things like that. By it being an adaptogen herb, it's literally doing just that. It's adapting to your body and what your body may need. So for me personally, it helps me with mental clarity. It helps me with stress. It helps me when them children don't want to be gentle parenting because they're not gentle children. So it helps me get through my day. Some people they've used it for weight loss. They've used it for focus. Some people even use it for sleep. That's one of the great things about that adaptogenicness. It's going to customize what your body needs for you. Second herb, passion flower. Passion flower is another herb that's used for relaxation and to help reduce anxiety. Definitely another really good one that I focus on as well, because again, we're living busy lives. Our minds are going, our nervous system is constantly just moving, thinking about our next move. So passion flower actually helps promote the relaxation and actually does what they call increases the neurotransmitters of the brain. Real cool. So it's like the electricity that flows through the brain that produces GABA. It's the happy feelings. So what that's going to do is it helps to calm the brain and kind of bring those calmer and happier feelings to you, your nervous system, and your overall body. Passion flower has also been shown to improve sleep quality, reduce menopause symptoms, and relieve menstrual cramps. One time for menstrual cramps. Water helps that too, by the way. If you get really bad cramps, water, y'all need to be drinking water out here in these streets. Your third herb, or root, if you will, at this point, is burdock. Burdock is actually a root vegetable that has been used to basically clean the blood. So it's going to help do anything like acne, eczema, promoting liver function by cleansing the blood, removing body toxins. So it's basically a great detox blood cleansing herb. It's also rich in antioxidants, which helps with circulation, heart health. Again, if you're cleaning your blood out, you cleanse the blood, you a lot of times will remove a lot of other issues that you're having. You cleanse the blood, you cleanse the liver, you'll find that your skin moves, flows better, you'll find that your body feels better, things just work better. Our fourth herb is going to be gotu kola. And gotu kola is a really cool herb because it's the one that you see the koala bears eating, the little koala bear, the little gotu kola leaves, that's what they eat. So gotu kola is really good for memory and also brain function. It helps to increase the blood flow to the brain and helps to like reproduce the neural parts of the brain. So it's basically helping with memory function. So it helps with memory, it helps with brain, it helps with circulation. It also is a great one, go figure, that helps with anxiety and promotes wound healing as well. And last but not least is lavender. Lavender, everybody knows about lavender for the most part. It's one of the more popular ones when you get the aromatherapy. Y'all get y'all massage, because I know y'all out here getting massages because y'all taking care of yourselves, because self-care is important. That's what we're doing out here in these streets. So you get your lavender oil. Lavender is good again for stress, anxiety. It has great anti-inflammatory properties. It helps treat things like acne, eczema, psoriasis, things of that nature. It's just overall, once again, a calming, perfect for sleep as well. If you're like me, I'll mix it in a little bottle with a little water, a dash of witch hazel, spray it in the air. Sometimes I'll spray the children like a cat. Don't judge me, judge yourselves. It puts them out. Sometimes you just hit the back of the neck and the wrist, a little lavender oil, we gone, we sleeping good. Sprinkle a little bit in your tub, sprinkle a little bit in the shower, however you want to do it. Lavender will put y'all together. So those are our top 5 herbs. Of course, incorporating the herbs, incorporating the teas, what I basically do is just that. So I take the herbs and I make them into teas that will allow you to get that into your body. It allows you to stay hydrated, but it also allows you to provide your time for yourself. So all of my teas are loose herbs. So instead of, just dropping a bag and going, you have to be intentional about how you prepare. I'm going to make myself some tea. I deserve tea today. I'm going to enjoy my cup of tea today. So you get your tea, you get your tea ball, you put your tea in your tea ball, you drop it in your hot water, you let it steep. You are actually taking that time for self-care. That's a part of a self-care practice, a ritual that you can do a couple of times a day, one time a day, but it's something that helps incorporate that self-care for yourself, as well as, of course, getting the health benefits. So in conclusion, taking care of ourselves is a crucial part of life and maintaining our overall health and well-being. Incorporating these herbs that I mentioned, such as ashwagandha, passion flower, burdock root, gotu kola, and lavender into our self-care routines obviously have numerous benefits on our physical and mental health. So the goal is to make some time for yourself, prioritize yourself just the same way as you do as everyone else, and again, serving from your saucer and not your teacup. Thank you.
Stay right there. I'm not even bringing my tablet up. Stay right there. Because listen, ma'am, I have some questions, and if you all have some questions as well, this might be a good moment. I know this is not in anything we discussed about Q&A, but for a Q&A.
Questions are easy. I've got a hard part right now.
So I can tell you my personal experience. I have two of the types of teas that she spoke of, right? Sage is sangria, and the other one I can't remember the name of right now, but it definitely has a wonderful calming effect. Like seriously, and what she said about making the tea is an act of self-care. You gotta let that sit with that for a minute, because we're so used to grabbing a Lipton or the Tetley or whatever, just throwing a bag and then pouring some water on it or put it in the microwave, some you know what I'm saying, and just getting some hot tea. No, this is really when you get to actually when you open up the bag. Number one, the smell of the tea leaves in there is just not part one of the self care. It really is, because it has such a wonderful smell. And then you were taking the time. This is your time, just as if you were to sit in a bath, right? This is your time. For me, I don't have a tea ball. I'm not fancy. I don't have a tea ball, but I have a Keurig, and so the Keurig comes with its own filter, right? So I put my tea in there, and I get my hot water, and I let it steep, and that is my time for me. And I get my favorite because I have many mugs. Y'all know y'all do too.
Yes.
We have many mugs, right? And I get a mug that I want for that day, because some days I might be feeling this way, and one day I might be feeling this. And that literally is a part of self-care. Get you a mug that speaks to you. Don't just get one that you got at a conference because your job gave it to you, and you don't even work there anymore. You just get
types of negative energy in that cup.
So, but it's amazing. So one of the ones that you said, and I apologize, I don't even remember the name of it because I was so engulfed in what you were saying. It does. You talked about one that deals with the neurology, that deals with your neurological health, is what I'm trying to say. And what was the name of that again?
That was the Go-To-Cola.
Mm-hmm. Say that one more time.
Go-To-Cola.
Oh, like if Go-To-Cola. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Basically.
Now say again what the attributes of that are.
So the attributes of the Go-To-Cola help with your brain function, your memory, circulation to the brain, kind of bringing that overall zen, if you will, to the brain. It's the same thing that the koala bears eat for like memory function. I think elephants do too. Don't quote me on the elephant part, but I think the elephants do too.
That is, wow. The fact that you brought in, now seriously, the fact that those animals partake of that. I was looking at something just yesterday when it talked about the animals that eat certain things and the animals that eat certain things. You never see a gorilla that has features like us, hands and feet, that does not eat meat. I'm not saying anything against meat, but they are healthy and strong. Whereas reptiles that don't have, hands and feet, or things that eat meat, animals that eat meat, tigers, lions, and bears. Oh my. That don't have hands like us, that are not physiologically made up like us. They are meat eaters, and they're preyed upon. Okay, that was something different, but it was good. Mm-hmm. So you said another one that, come on, Jesus, you talked about the hot flashes and the cramps. I don't have the cramps. But listen, these flashes, they be flashing. I have my own personal summer at any given moment. So passion flower.
Passion flower would be beneficial, but in all honesty, increasing your water, and doing something like a black cohosh and a red raspberry would probably be more beneficial for helping to kind of balance out the hormones and helping with the hot flashes. Also adding a chlorophyll to your water as well.
Huh. I know, right? Huh. Any questions from our audience or even online? No, y'all have a question? I got another one in. I've heard about ashwagandha. Of course, we hear Captain Brown talking about ashwagandha, but when you gave other attributes to ashwagandha that I don't think many people speak about. We're just now hearing about it, and mainly, if I'm being honest, a lot of people by and large is because she's talking about it. Mm-hmm. But she's talking about it from one perspective. But kind of give us a little bit more about ashwagandha.
So ashwagandha, literally, like I said, it's an adaptogenic herb. And for the record, Tabitha, I love you, my girl. Let me go way back. But I've been studying research and actually taking ashwagandha for over 4 or 5 years now before it became popular. So by it being an adaptogenic herb, it's basically helping to adapt to the body however you need it. So it can help with stress, it can help with mood, it can help with weight loss, circulation. There's some studies that it's beneficial for the thyroid. It literally adapts to what your body needs.
Wow.
So for those of us who are in the room, and Candy, I'm gonna need you to come back in just a second. For those of us who are in the room, she actually has a table set up in the back that has some good, like she has teas with her today.
I do have a few. I have the Sage Sangria for detoxing that has the burdock in it. I have my sister's keeper, which if you follow me, by the way, I'm Hands of Sage on Instagram. My sister's keeper actually was formulated when my sister was having extreme heart racing, heart chest pain. We didn't know what was going on. We was in emergency twice in a week. So it's a blend that helps with anxiety, stress, and heart health. And then I also have Morning Blush that has Gotu Kola in it. I have small bags of that. I have the Sage's Brew for mental clarity and focus that has the lavender in it. There's something else that's back there. Oh, Allergy Ease, because the pollen is the devil, and I'm convinced. So, yes, I do have the teas available. And of course, they're always online, handsofsage.com. I can also do custom blends. The hot flash one would definitely be a custom blend because everybody's flashes are different. So we can definitely get you locked in with that one.
Oh my gosh, thank you so
Absolutely.
much. Again, handsofsage.com. Follow her on Instagram at Hands of Sage. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And Candy, if you would come back, because Candy also has she also, for those in the room, has a wonderful and beautiful table set up in the back. But I want those who are online to also have the opportunity to know how to connect with Candy and also how to and what she has in the back as well. So we're bringing Candy back to share with us what it is that she has at her table.
That's okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to share again. Well, at my table, I have 2 books, Hope for a Rainy Day, Encouragement for the Single Mother, and also My Precious Wedding Gift, Identifying What Hindered, Halted, or Severed Your Dreams, Identify Where You Are, Create a Plan to Catapult into Your Future, and so that you are able to live on purpose, with the purpose for a purpose. So whatever hurt you, stopped you, hindered you, I'm talking about that and how to overcome. Also at my table, I have a e-course available for you to get your finances together, to get your money right. Because a lot of times, a lot of things we're praying for is right there inside of us. God said He's given us creative knowledge to gain wealth, and we just have to tap into that. But there's some fundamental things that we have to put into place. We can't spend our money. And like my daughter says, she swipe her card until it says decline. So, so that's not financial health, right? So we have to put some fundamental things in place in order to get that financial foundation together in order to build upon. So I'm teaching you a 3-pronged system in order to manage your income, restructure your outgo, and invest the extra. And that extra meaning in that education, getting that degree that you've been desiring, that extra in starting that business that you've been desiring, purchasing that real estate, that Airbnb. You can't do that. You can't hustle while you're hungry. You know, if you're still trying to figure out how to pay the light bill, there's no extra to buy an Airbnb. So I'm teaching you that through this e-course, and it's called Mindset and Money. If we get our mind right, when transform our mind, our wallets will also transform. So thank you. You can reach me at candyzenon.com. I'm also on Facebook at Candy Zenon Author and on YouTube, Candy Zenon. Thank you.
My goodness, I'm telling y'all enjoying yourselves so far?
Yes.
I didn't hear you.
Yes.
Okay, so I have a question because I have this orange bag over here is not just here because I forgot it was there. It's there because for a reason. So I have a question for you. And again, you got to be quick on the draw. You got to be quick with your hands. So get your raising arm ready. Can someone name one of the T's? Oh, okay, well, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. This is for you. And when you get it, I want you to read what it says. I'm going to come to you since this is here. And I want you to read what it says.
Warrior woman. Blessed is the woman whose strength and bravery inspire others to rise up with passion and perseverance, to face challenges with a spirit of faith and hope.
Yes, ma'am. That is you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. See, we're giving away stuff over here. We're giving away stuff. So if you're online, there's still time to get here because we're giving away stuff. There's more to come. Again, this is our Women's Health and Wellness Expo where we are talking about healing the mind, body, and spirit. We want to restore her mind, heal her body, and revive her spirit. That is what we're all about. As a matter of fact, the t-shirt that you're seeing me wear is available in the back as well. If you're online, we'll make it available to you, but it's available in the back as well because we want to, after we leave here, we want to continue to heal, right? So we are going to segue into something that is near and dear to my heart, and that is mental health and wellness. We are going to be talking about mental health. As you all heard me at the beginning, you may have heard me say that we have an initiative that is a part of our organization that is called Pain and Infused Mental Health and Ministry, where it is our goal and desire to bridge the gap between the mental health and faith communities. And so because of that, now I'm not the person who's giving that part. I could, yeah, I know, okay. But I actually am grateful that we have a guest with us today, Tracy Conley Bray. Tracy is an advocate and author. She has self-published over 30 book titles and is the owner and curator of Mental Health 365, a blog web page designed to bring awareness to mental health 365 days per year, as well as provide resources and a safe place for individuals to share their stories and receive encouragement and motivation. I introduce and present to you my guest for today, Tracy Conley Bray.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You know, I was hesitant on what I would have to share with all of you this morning. You know, what is it that I had to say that would be of help to anyone out there? Now, when I said good morning, let me pause and say that again. Because there was a time when saying good morning or even having said good morning to me literally broke me down into tears. My story started like so many others in 2020 when the pandemic hit. It was June 25th. My daughter, who's my oldest child, my only girl, she had called me and asked me to take her to the ER when I got off work. So I left work and I took her to the ER and we talked like we always did on the way there. She asked me if I would come in, but there weren't any visitors in at that time, so she had to go in by herself. We said our goodbyes. I had no idea that that would be the last time that I would see my daughter alive. We went on, you know, the family, it was hard. Mentally, we struggled, but there were still more losses to be had. 7 days after my daughter passed, my son passed from COVID. We buried her July 18th. And he passed that night, July 18th, and we buried him July 25th. My brother passed from COVID August 4th. So the family needs to say, mentally, we were not there. We were at a point where if planning traffic was an option, I would have chose planning traffic. I had broken down. I was not in a good space. I was angry. I was always taught, you pray, you ask, you receive. We didn't receive, not once, not twice, not three times. So God was in that accord with everything and everybody else. I was not feeling God. We had things to work out. I was being strong because my daughter had a son, my son had a son. There were people, there was things that had to be taken care of. I was going through the motion. I was just doing the bare minimum, but I was taking care of my family. I went on to adopt my daughter's son. I have one living son, the youngest, who also has a son. And it wasn't just all about me, you know. I had a grandson who lost a mother, a grandson who lost a father, and a son who lost both his siblings in 7 days. It was a time where if we could break down and just, if the earth could have opened and swallowed me up, I would have elected that over the feeling that I had. I took to eating. That was my comfort. I took care of my grandson and I ate and I ate. And I'm dealing with the aftermath of all of that now, because now with that becomes other things. Those stresses that we internalize that we think we have to be so strong for will break us. It was send us to an early grave, and if not a grave, definitely to a mental place, a place, not a good space at that. But in time, I realized I had to do something different. My health was failing, and I needed to be there. I had responsibilities. I had people who were looking for me to take care of them. So I did eventually, I sought out help. I saw the psychiatrist. I'm an advocate for good therapy. Not all therapy is good. You have to connect with the right person. It took many, but I finally found one. I did do the pills. I'm not ashamed to say. We do what we need to do when we're in a space.
That's right.
I'm off of the pills now, but at that time, it was what I needed to stay.
Right.
I was being strong for the grandsons. I was being strong for my sons. And that being strong literally sucked everything out of me. And so once I started to do the work, and I'm still doing the work, but what I'm here to tell you now is that being strong is an admirable quality. It really is. But when being strong goes wrong and your mental, physical, and spiritual health begin to suffer, then it's time to do something different. We have to do it a different way. And so that's where I'm at today, doing something different. And I find that healing and restoration is not a let's do it and it's done. It's an ongoing process. It's coming up on 3 years this July since they all passed. And what I envision for this year to be way more different than the last two, because I cried and wallowed in there. This year I'm going to cry. I'm going to make room for the pain, but I won't sit there. I won't lay in it like I did before, not quite as long, because we can't do that if we're going to be mentally strong. So what I'm saying today before I leave you is make room for your grief. Acknowledge your grief, your loss, your pain, your hurt, whatever it is, but don't let it test you to the point that you don't have a testimony when it's over. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much, because the powerful thing, if you want to come, I don't want you to say that. The powerful thing about what you shared was that you were here to share it.
Amen.
You are an encouragement for so many, because we experience so many things and we don't talk about it. Maybe not to the extent of what Tracy has experienced, but maybe it was to the extent of what Tracy experienced. But a few things that she said that was so key. She got the help that she needed, and she's still moving forward. I'm not on the pills now, but I needed them then. Understanding what help you need and taking that help and being the example, that's important. And so I applaud you. I applaud you. And I thank you for being a part of this experience. Because listen, if you all saw on social media, I kept saying that this is going to be an experience. That's what I want it to be. We don't want it to just be where you all come and sit and hear some people. We want it to be an experience where you feel, receive, heal, and hear. That's what we want. So thank you again, Tracy. I love you so much. So right now, first, let me take a breath. Everybody in through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, slowly out through the mouth. Because I know in this moment, although Tracy shared her story, your story was rolling through your mind as well. So in this moment, I just want you to take a second as I bring forward someone who's going to shift us into a different space. I just want us for a moment, because it's okay to have a human moment. It's okay. We talked about that a moment ago. When do you get a chance to be you? You get a chance to be you right now in this room. Like I said earlier, that you can be the princess in the room. Be a princess. Be served today. It's okay. If the tears fall, we got tissue. We are in this room. We got you. We got you. So again, in through the nose slowly. Hold it for a moment. And then breathe it out slowly. So as she's making her way up here, those of you who are online, I want you to be involved in this as well. So in here, we're gonna take a little stretch break. And I think now is the perfect time. We're gonna kind of loosen ourselves up, kind of stretch for a moment, because as we sit here in this moment, we're gonna still continue to in the healing process. But sometimes the healing process means some tears are coming. So I want you to take a moment. So I'm going to bring before us Ms. Kylie Ross. She's going to take us through some stretches, kind of because we've been sitting for a little bit. We're going to stretch a little bit. We're going to, those of you who are online, I want you to engage in it as well. And if you can't engage right now with us, while you're online, as you're stretching with us and having a little fun, don't go anywhere. As a matter of fact, those of you who are online, go ahead and hit that share button. We want you to share this experience with others. So share. I got a chance to go over on YouTube. Hey, y'all on YouTube. Thank you so much for all the comments that were coming through on there. And those of you on Facebook, love you so much as well. So take it away, Kylie.
Yes. Oh, y'all not gonna clap for me, really? That's what we doing today? Chelsea, you didn't say nothing about it. They was gonna be quiet on me. You better check the hoodie. Listen, I'm so happy to be here. My name is Kylie Ross. I am owner of B-Rock Fitness, your premier virtual and mobile fitness and health company. Guess what that means? We're going to get moving. What it always means, and I know somebody do not like to hear that, but it is so much needed. Because just like Chelsea said, you can be sitting down for so long, and then all of a sudden you don't even realize you've been working. 7 hours have passed, 10 hours have passed, 12 hours have passed, and you're still just working. What have you accomplished? Don't you say work. No, you didn't. I got a full-time job too. You ain't done that. I answered a couple phone calls and sat there and been upset and aggravated. So we're gonna have some fun. You got my music cranked?
Not cranked.
I need it cranked.
Cranked.
I need it cranked up. Okay, so for this, I do want, if you can, stand with me. I promise you I won't have you sweat. If you bust one bead of sweat, you can sit down. And I will not say nothing, okay? I worked real hard on this, Tamika. I did. I worked really hard.
Right there.
Right now. All right, we're gonna stand. I want you to stand with your legs a little bit wider than your hips. As soon as the music starts, Won't need no problem. All right, we're gonna shift them hips. What we've been doing first.
I go
Now,
drink water and mind my business. Drink water and mind my business.
there we go.
I go drink water and mind my business. Drink water and mind my business. Who me? I don't watch people, man. I looking for house and land. Who me? I don't watch people things. I'm a queen. I am my own king. Of some of them that stop
There
me
you go.
most. Like they know it's all. Ask them how they get their Gucci purse. I go drink water and mind my business. Drink water and mind my business.
You can do this at the
I go drink water and mind my business.
Don't look back. Okay.
Drink
I
water
want
and
no
mind
one
my
to
business.
Don't do
Me
it.
and them, me and them can't be
Just
friends.
go repeat,
I
that's
fight the
all.
battle
Oh,
and
nobody
try give me
quit.
help and strength. No, it's we. That can't be English, that had to be French.
Yeah.
Of some of them that stop the most, like they know
Yeah,
it
somebody like this
all.
one.
But if the ground matter slip and I fall,
Okay.
this time so I go drink water and mind my business. Drink water and mind my business. I go drink water and mind my business. Drink water and mind my business. Me and you are no beef. I is the police and you is the thief. The people you think is your friend, them only there cause you have money to spend. Of some of them that stop the most, like they know it all. But when your head what I can't see your way, who you just call? I go drink water and mind my business.
I hear you.
Drink water and mind my business. I go drink water and mind my business. Drink water and mind my business.
All right, we're gonna get them feet moving. Don't sit down. Thank you.
Don't you turn my team to another man team. Let me know when you need something. Girl, I'm used to this, so girl, I'm used for this, so you be out too much. I know you are feeling pompous. I know nobody knows me. I can pick your man, you go carry coach. My baby, love where I got it for you. But you know see America, but you know see Colorado, but you know see Puerto Rico. Love where I got it for you. But you know see America, but you know see Colorado, but you know see Puerto Rico.
Yeah, the hips might as well line, right? Hello, line better be doing
Are you from Congo?
And I'm like,
I love girls with choco. I saw this thing from a broco. But if I see love, I dey love her. You be mommy water, happy papi water, call me water. Put you for my eye like you be pure water, oh baby. No summer like it. Because of you, I dey put in my cheese, melody. So love where I get it for you. But you know see America. But you know see Colorado. But you know see Puerto Rico. Love where I get it for you. But you know see America. But you know see Puerto Rico. But you know see Puerto Rico.
I promise you, right? You gotta swear. One knee. Yes. I better tell it. Don't tell me keep my promise. That was it. The next chair. I'm gonna sit here right here, right? These last two songs is real chill. We're just gonna extend that leg out. I want the heel to the floor. The floor, this is your heel. And I want you to lean forward. High. You feel in the back of your leg, you should feel a stretch. And all of that. It takes that. You back. You can be up. Other leg extended. To the floor again. Now tilt forward. Make sure you're. I want you inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your mouth. Your mouth. Knee back. Now we're gonna take the arm up. You take it up as high as you can. Honest. And bring it back down. Give me that one more time. Bring it up. And back down. Last time. Only till fifth. Last time down four. Now we're going to the other arm. Bring it up. Good. Do that stretch. Like really get into the stretch. Don't just feel to do it. Bring it down. Like really feel the tension release. Again, bring it up. Good. You feel that tension. Good. There you go. Good. One more time. Up. There you go. Let it release. Now let's go. Look at that. Okay. She's a friend now, but someone's friend. That'd be the hardest one to take. It's like keep bring it down. Don't even, go to your happy place. Like, think about the stretch. Bring that down. Press those palms down to the floor. Imagine that you're pushing weight away from where you are. Like you're pushing against the box or a brick. Anything. Push away. All of that hard pressure, that tension, that stress, that whatever is in our ourselves here. Because really, that's what we need to do. One more time, we're going to do all we got. Breathe in. Now, once you press your hand, you press under your knee. Lift that knee a little bit. We're about toes, don't worry about anything. If you really stretch, you will feel that on you. Let it go. Hold over. And that's the technique. There you go. Girl, I'm this. Down. Longer leg. To that knee. But a little bit. Get that down. Slowly. Good. Good. Let's get some rolls in. Good. Give yourselves a hand. How you feel? That's right. What about you, online? I can hear you. I can hear you. Oh, that was wonderful. Wonderful. Right? Get back here. It is such a pleasure to be here. And, yes, the allergies are something serious, but I'm not going to let that stop me. We're not going to let that stop us.
Before you get started. So, before Miss Kylie gets started, because this is about to be good. You're not going to work, because this is about to be good. So, I didn't get a chance to introduce you. I just gave a stretch break. I didn't get a chance to introduce you. I'm just saying. Because you got us all.
That's why I didn't clap.
Now it makes sense. So it wasn't Chelsea's fault. Okay, we back friends again. I'll forgive you.
So I met Kylie online, right? And Kylie became my personal trainer. I had been talking about how I wanted to have a personal trainer, but really during the pandemic, it really proved to me, working from home and being sedentary, because like you say, you're sitting there for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Now you sat there a whole 8-hour shift, right? And your kitchen is a few feet from you. And here you are I crossed over the 50 mark, and when you cross over the 50 mark, metabolism say, what, you needed me? I forgot. I didn't know you needed me. You needed me. So Kylie would come out to my house, and she would give me these great exercises. But not only that, the exercises were great. The stretches were great. The stretches were phenomenal, because that's really important. It really does. One of the things that she just had us do was when she was telling us to push it away. It really is a metaphor, but it's actually like really you're pushing away with the stress. But she also is a dynamic encourager. Like, you feel like you can do this thing. You feel like, she might be on to something here. Now, when she would leave, Epsom salt and hot water in the bath was my friend. But I'm telling you, when I tell you, she is not just a person who just says she does it. She does it. Like, this is her. So allow me to introduce to you my friend over here, Canon. She was just giving a stretch break. But I hope that you all enjoy this stretch break, because this is important we can incorporate this into our days, because those of us who do work from home, or even if you don't work from home, certain times during the day, you got to take time to just stretch it out, get some movement in. So let me introduce you to Miss Kylie. She is Kylie Ross. Kylie is a recovering food junkie. Her journey has taken her through many levels of highs and lows. She reached a point of depression from being in various relationships that made her feel defeated and lonely. So she turned to food and more food. Her highest weight was 400 pounds. Can you believe it? She couldn't. But she grew accustomed and only changed her dress size, but not her lifestyle. Due to other underlying health issues, she turned to bariatric surgery. After surgery, she went through much needed therapy to ensure that she was ready for the journey that she was about to embark upon. After losing 75 pounds from the physical adjustments of her recent surgery, her cravings came back. Her emotions started taking over again, and the little voices came back telling her that she couldn't do this and that it wouldn't last. She turned to the gym and started walking and listening to music. Y'all heard the song. Then she got a personal trainer. And she taught her, and she turned her onto group fitness classes, and she loved it. She was welcomed immediately and made to feel accepted for the first time in a long time, if ever. Because she craved the energy and power that she felt in class, she wanted to be that source for others as well. Can y'all tell? This led to her instructing. Now, she is a certified personal trainer, group fitness instructor in various formats, including her own Lean Up Bootcamp, 2B Mindset, nutrition mentor, and a certified nutrition coach. She hopes that her story can be an inspiration that you can do anything with consistency, faith, and support. V-Rock Fitness, y'all saw the sweatshirt, is all about support and accountability. They create such in all services and programs offered, and they pride themselves on always giving great value to every client. I am a living witness of that, no matter gender, fitness level, and or size. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Kylie Ross.
Oh my goodness, you guys are just amazing. I'm just so warmed. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. Oh, that's loud?
No, you're fine.
Okay. So yes, all of that is true.
depression is real. And it will affect you in so many different ways. I've always been overweight as a child, adolescent, teenager, young adult. But yes, when life started lifing, I did not have the right relationship. And I realized that my relationship with food was completely off because I went to that as an attachment to help me cope with life. So now I'm here to hopefully help. If I can just help one person, I'm going to be so thrilled to let you know that, first of all, you're not alone. Second of all, there is a way out. There is. We've heard that all morning from all of the phenomenal speakers, every last one, especially our last beautiful one. There is a way out, no matter how dark, how deep you go. Okay, so, because I do not want to hold up your time. If you do not know what to eat, we've all been there. We'll say, you know what, I'm ready, New Year's here, I'm going to get 30 pounds off before May 1. We'll just put some kind of astronomical date out there. We'll say, this is what we're going to do. And then we're going to find somebody and say, I want to get 30 pounds off May 1, make it happen. What will you charge me? Who's been there? And you're looking for a magic pill, you're looking for a perfect meal plan that you know you're not gonna follow, but you want it to work. Listen. No, you're not gonna follow. I've been there. I know what I'm talking about. Have you done a cleanse where you say, you know what, in 3 days, all this gonna be gone? I'm so excited. I'm gonna go ahead and go to the store right now and get that outfit because in 3 days, when I finish this cleanse, all of this is gonna be gone. And then you wake up day 3 and what happens?
Still there.
That part, thank you. You're like, what? Okay, the cleanse didn't work. That's what they say. The cleanse didn't work. No. This is what I have been saying ever since I started B-Rock Fitness. Everybody has a story, and everybody has a story. My body has its own story. Some that you may not believe, some of it you may. But I too went through something as well, and I got a story. There's a lot that we're going to cover in this short amount of time, and I want to make sure that we cover it because all of it connects. All of it blends together to form your story, your body story, and your emotional story. First thing we're going to talk about, did you know there are eating disorders that are out there? I used to not know that. We have anorexia, bulimia, binge eating. Which one you think I was at 400 pounds? You take a wild guess. I was a binge eater. And it took nothing for me to start just grabbing. I would be in Macy's, supposed to be getting clothes and personals. Guess what I picked up? A box of Godiva chocolate. Not one little personal, a box. And I'm excited because I get to go home and just eat it. Wanna know why? Because I was going through stuff. And I never did this to nobody. I just was going through. So you got your 3 eating disorders. There are signs that a lot of times we can miss that will let you know something may not be right with my friend. A lot of times it could be where they're restricting themselves from food and they're always dieting. Another could be where they're binging. That's what I was doing. But see, I would do it in private. I made sure nobody was with me. I'm a single woman, so I've lived alone all of my adult life. Nobody saw me binge eating. That was just me and Jesus, but it was me. My friends didn't know. My mother didn't even know, but they knew something was wrong because my outer appearance kept changing. Purging. That's a big sign. A lot of people do that too, very common. These distorted body image of themselves. Going through that too. Where you see one version of yourself in a mirror, but everybody else is like, what are you talking about? I don't see that. And you can't get it. Like, I couldn't understand. We're going to talk about that a little more later. Low self-esteem, feelings of inadequacy, lack of control. I will go crazy if I cannot physically control where I want something to be placed. Don't move it, don't touch it, because I said I want it there. There's a reason. That's what happens. Clear sign. Fear of becoming fat. Story, transparency. Can I create a safe room, safe space right here and online? When I got off the 75 pounds right after the surgery, I said, okay, I'm not going back. Guess what happened? I went back. Then I said, okay, I'm gonna do this one more time. I got it this time. I know what's wrong. I'm gonna get this person, that person, that person, that person out. And then I'm gonna move. I'm gonna change my environment. We got this. And I'm still gonna, I'm not going back. Started going back, but I didn't. I kind of did this number. But then I snatched back. I said, wait, whoa, just a minute. I sought the Lord. I did something different. I said, let me just talk to the Lord and see what's going on, because that therapy session I had just to get the insurance to cover my surgery, all that had worn off. All of that had worn off. I needed something now. I said, okay. He started revealing things to me about myself that I didn't like. Be careful what you ask for. Be ready what you ask for. I had to face it. I had to face that. You know how hard that is? Of course you do. You do. Following rules rigidly. This is me even today. It sticks. It's just stuck. Keeps feelings to themselves. All of us do that. All of us do that. We gatekeep from ourselves. That's what we do. Perfectionism. All of that. The list goes on. These are signs to look out for. I want to show you something that you may or may not have seen. It's a hunger scale. These are the levels of hunger. Is it up here? Okay. These are the different stages of hunger. Different stages of hunger. We're going to start at the top. Go through it kind of quickly. Starving. This is something that a lot of us, most of us have not experienced, thank God, but we think we have. And we'll say, oh my God, I'm starving. But physically, you're not starving. Starving is where you have severe hunger pains. You want to eat any and everything in sight. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be a food that you know you do not like. I do not like coconut. I do not like the smell of it. I don't want nothing coconut. If I was starving, I would tear up coconut. That's just how serious it gets. But let me go through and tell you before we go to the next level, what you can do if you do find yourself in this stage. What foods will be good for you? Off to the side, you see a picture of dates and apples. Dates and apples. These are your simple carbs. Simple carbs. See, when you get to this point of starvation, your blood sugar is now dropping. It's doing this, and you can feel it. You'll have shakes, get delusional. You may even pass out. So you got to get something to stabilize the sugars and get it back to what? Balance. Balance. And you don't want to just go straight to pure complex sugar, because then you're doing this. And now you could really hurt yourself. You want to have something that's going to stabilize it. Go natural. Go natural. You got Hansa Sage back there who does nothing but natural herbs. We have a young lady back here who does a life coaching. She's going to get you to understand why you even went to that level. She's going to help you understand that. We have Chelsea, who's going to also help you to see yourself. She's going to help you to identify, why do you keep doing this to yourself? You may or may not like it, but guess what? You're going to need it. You're going to need it. These are some good foods that you can try if you do feel yourself getting to those severe hunger pains. Ravenous, that's another stage right before starvation. What can I get here? Guess what? Ginger. Ginger. I like ginger myself. It is an acquired taste, I know. So if you don't like it, I get it. I get it. I do. But ginger is really good. And the reason why is because, let me actually go to my notes, so I won't say nothing wrong. It treats nausea. It eases stomach pains. Also, it reduces inflammation. So now you've got all of that in one. It's hurting with those pains that you're feeling, that drain energy. And then you're going to pair it with some fruit, your apple, your dates. Now you're feeling yourself stabilize again. You're feeling some energy coming back where you can move. Now we're just hungry. We're just hungry. You have minor hunger pains. You may not feel too comfortable. You know, it would be good if you could go ahead and eat. You're just thinking about, hey, can we just go ahead and get somewhere and go eat? That's what you're thinking about. If you get to this point, vegetables is your friend. Not just any vegetables. You don't want the starch. You want the green vegetables. green beans, collard greens, turnip greens, mustards, broccoli, cucumbers. You want that. You got your fiber, your iron, your magnesium. That's what you want. Mild hunger, just slightly hungry. You're moving around, you're working, you're doing what you gotta do, and you just know, okay, I need to eat. Consciously, you know it's time to eat. You could get something. Protein. Protein. What do I mean by protein? Anybody know an example of protein? No, don't worry about getting the answer wrong. I would not embarrass you.
Chickens.
Thank you. Y'all got it. Let's go into detail with the meat. Turkey, lamb. Yeah. You don't want to go too fatty, but hey, it's there. You want the protein. If you do happen to get a fatty piece of meat, pull that fat off. Don't watch. I know. Don't look. Just go like this.
That's the best part.
I know. And I get it. But this, sometimes you just gotta pull, just like you pull a scab off, a Band-Aid off, you just gotta rip it off. Don't even look at it. I've been there. Or purposefully don't season that flour. Okay. Y'all weren't ready for that option. Make it seasonless. And then you definitely won't want it. Now you're neutral. We're going down the scale. Now you're neutral. You don't feel hungry. You don't feel full. Again, you're conscious of what's going on. You're conscious that, okay, I need to do something. I need to eat. I need to get up. I need to get moving. And I need to make me a plate. And at this point, you may even say, I'm going to make a balanced meal. I'm going to have cauliflower rice. I'm going to have turkey. I'm going to get some broccoli. Think you'll do that at neutral? I have confidence in you. I do. If I don't let myself go past neutral, I have a better chance of eating what I'm supposed to eat. Much better chance. Once I go past neutral, don't talk to me, don't judge me. I better not see a picture on social media. Don't do it. So at neutral, you have more control. You can get a little serving of popcorn, as you see on the screen here, a little air pop popcorn. That'll be plenty. A little sea salt, maybe, a little spray butter, and you're good because guess what? You're at neutral. Now let's go down the next one. You're satisfied. Guess what? Just like any other balance beam, you got one side of the scale. Now we're going over to the other side of the scale. So you're satisfied. What are you going to do at satisfaction? Please say don't eat nothing else.
Don't eat nothing else.
Thank you. Thank you. If you're satisfied, we're going to step away. We're going to leave the table. We're going to literally walk away from the table. We're going to have a conversation. We're going to get busy cleaning. We're going to be running behind the children, telling them to get somewhere, sit down. We're going to watch a movie, listen to music. You're going to get something off of your mind of knowing I have leftovers. That was really good. But you're satisfied. Now let's go to full. You're full. You feel like you're full, but you can still move. You don't have the itis. You're like, okay, what we gonna do? We're gonna push away from that table again. We're not going back for seconds because physically we're good. We're good. Now we're going over to slightly full. See, this is where usually V-Rock Fitness start coming into play. We're going into slightly over full because now what's happening? You're over full, but guess what? Let's say it's Thanksgiving. You got friends and family over at the table. Y'all are talking, gabbing, going on. Nobody's thinking about anything in particular. You're talking about the latest reality show, and you have, what do you have on the table? Your pots, your pans full of food still, and you're not thinking, guess what you may do? Girl, I know, did you see what happened? I said in the TV, don't do that, but they did it anyway. I know. And you need to just say, well, what are you doing again? I mean, I know I'm exaggerating, but is it not real? I've been there. Now you're over full because you kept dipping. Now you're over full. Now you got the itis. This way you're like, oh, girl, I got to unbutton these pants. It's time for me to go home so I can go to bed and go to sleep. Now, if you be at my table, I'm telling you, better not. We go get up all right, but we ain't finna go to bed. I'm sorry, I keep doing that. We're not finna go to bed. So now let's say that I'm not there. You're still talking. You're like, oh, girl, but that punch is so good. You got that one last slice, right? let me go ahead and get this so you ain't got to worry about cleaning up no dirty dishes. You can just throw that in the trash. I'm telling you, I got family members. We there. I get it. We're okay. We're all from the same. I get it. And you like, let me just go ahead and get that. I know I can fit it somewhere. Now my mindset is shifted. I'm like, I can't fit that nowhere. Like, mama, put that down. But she won't. So now you're stuffed. Now you're uncomfortable. Didn't we just go over starving where you're also uncomfortable? Wasn't ravenous also uncomfortable? Hungry? So what did we just see? You can be uncomfortable and malnourished, but you can also be uncomfortable and overnourished. So now we're stuffed and you're discomfortable and you can't do anything. But look at the photos that I have next to it. When you see that you've gotten full or even slightly overfull, what you need to do? Get up and walk. I don't care if you pick up a dust rag and just start wiping off dust. Do you know that's doing something? That's getting your mind off of that food. You're moving. If you done mess around and got stuffed, okay, you need to go outside. You need some natural vitamin D and you need to move those legs. You need to get to walking. And make sure you get those arms walking with it. Because what's going to happen is that food will sit right here. You ever heard of acid reflux? Prilosec? Gas X? We don't need that. We don't. You just need to get up and get walking. You may need to do your arms like this to help work that food down. That's really it. If I knew then what I knew now. That's all I can say. All right, we're going to keep it going, so I don't want to run over. Really quickly, body image. Body image. Whether you have lost a lot of weight or whether you have gained a lot of weight, body image is there. It can either be distorted or it cannot. You can become obsessive or you can become lazy. I got obsessive. I was OCD with working out. Did you know you could literally overdo it working out? I had no idea. I was like, no, I'm good. As long as I'm in the gym, I'm safe. If you hear anybody say that, red flag, red flag, red flag, talk them down off the ledge. Because you can do too much in the gym. You can tell yourself the gym is going to fix every single issue that I have. You can make that now your vice versus food, and you can hurt yourself. Another thing that can happen, you can have body dysmorphic disorder. I can never say it just right thinking about it. You're looking at the mirror. I will still see that 400-pound person. But yet, other people will say, what are you talking about? You were 400 pounds? And I'm like, yeah. Because to me, she's still right there. It's like I haven't detached and said, you can go away now because that part is gone. Praise him. She's still right here saying, nope, we're a package, we're a pair. And I have to be conscious of that. I have to go back to my tools and my resources to know when it's time to let it go. It could be when I'm that monthly. It could be during that time. Starts playing with your mind. Any little thing that sets us over emotionally, hormonally, it can have you looking at it just through a distorted lens at yourself. If you are a client or a person that has arthritis, may have had broken bones or strains, you may have had bariatric surgery, even cosmetic surgery. We know that the BBLs are just trendy right now. Everybody wants the derriere, the tiny waist, the curvy. Everybody wants that now. But guess what? I'm not even gonna tell you it's bad to do. I'm not even gonna tell you, if you're thinking about doing it, go for it. Make sure you have a good doctor. Make sure you've done your research. But most importantly, make sure when you're in recovery, move. Don't lay down like they tell you to. You can still work certain muscles like the core, your glutes, your hamstrings, your calves. You do not have to be bedridden from any surgery. You don't. I don't care if you're laying on your back. I don't care if you're laying on your stomach after a BBL. Does not matter. You can still work some part of your body and go ahead and jumpstart that recovery process. Okay? Because what's happening is you're setting up fluid. It's swollen. That's why they'll say, oh, you need a lymphatic massage. Not denying that, but you could help yourself if you move. That's what our body is meant to do. Last but not least, Wellness Recon. I am one half of the Wellness Recon team. The first half is in the back, Tanika Deshawn. We are going to be coming to you guys next Saturday. We're going to go more in depth. She's going to go more in depth, as am I. We're going to talk about decompressing. We're going to talk about all the stages of hunger, again, more in detail. We're going to talk about the right herbs to detox and avoid allergies. She just gave you a little snippet. We're going to go over exercises you can do at home. So that little cute little stretch where I promise you no sweat. You can't hold me to that at Wellness Recon, okay? You just can't. You can't do it. That was mine. I promise you'll see you, nobody will sweat. But Wellness Recon is, let's be rocking hands and sage. I can make you sweat on that one. That's okay. It's all virtual. I want you to get your tickets. See me in the back. Tickets are available. It's all virtual, only 2 hours, 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's talk about it more in detail. Here's my information on how you can reach me. It has been a pleasure. Chelsea, thank you so much for always thinking of me. And I hope to see and speak to each of you soon. Snapshot, snippet, whatever you need to do. I want to hear from all of you all, even if it's just a praise report. Okay. Thank you.
It's giveaway time. And I don't want anyone I can't do that one because it was never mind. I was going to say don't turn around and tell me what the name of our company is, but that it was over the screen, so that was
all bad.
But I do have another beautiful warrior cup for another recipient. How would you like to give this away?
Well, I can ask a question about
Ask
what
away.
I just, okay.
Ask away.
So what is the name of the event that I just said I want all of you to go back to my table and go purchase a ticket for?
Okay, that hand went up first.
Okay. It ain't on the screen. I'll take it. Wellness Recon. Yes. Thank you.
And that is Miss Pearl.
Miss Pearl. Wonderful.
Yes. Awesome sauce. And as she said, listen, you guys, she is set up in the back at the table in the back. However, for those of you who are online, I want you to definitely, as she said, connect with her on her website as well as connect with her on social media, because this is what you really want. I mean, really, I am not just saying this, I am a first participant, first recipient of the wonderful things that she really does. And the person that you see here today is the person that she is outside of here. And I just appreciate that so much. Again, I want you guys to know that we are in our annual Women's Health and Wellness Expo, where we are healing her mind, body, and soul, mind, body, and spirit. And we are restoring her body, restore her mind, restore her mind, healing her body, and reviving her soul. It's hard to read upside down. I don't care what you say. And we have the shirts that are available in the back. So I want you guys to know, for those of you who may be kind of new to Pain and Glory, or this is your first time, I want you guys to know a little something before I get into introducing our next speaker, which I'm super excited about. I'm super excited about all of them. I promise you. Let me just interject this before I say what I was about to say. Everyone that is a speaker here was divinely selected by God. It was not because I already had a relationship with these people. It was not. These were really who God designated to be here, and so I'm so appreciative of that. I want you guys to know, as I was saying a moment ago, if you're new to Pain and Glory, if you just didn't know, so we actually have our own channel on Roku TV, Apple TV, Amazon Fire Stick TV, and online. It is Pain and Glory TV. And we actually have our own show, which is the Pain in the Pews Mental Health and Ministry show. It is on demand, so I don't have to say, tune in on Tuesday nights at 7:00 p.m. No, unless that's when you want to click on it, that it's on demand at any time. And we have some great content on there, so I definitely want you guys to check it out. So again, it's online as well as on Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, and on Apple TV. So I am excited about that. So our next speaker is coming to us to talk about mindfulness. And so we hear the word mindfulness sometimes, but you might not really know what that means and how that applies to you and how it works for you. And so I have the pleasure to introduce this. I mean, she is, well, you'll see, she's amazing. Anitra Rice is the mother of three amazing sons, Isaiah, Jaden, and Nicholas. She lost Josiah and Jaden to depression by way of suicide in 2019 and 2021. With her greatest pain comes her greatest joy, being an advocate for the destigmatization of mental health in the Black community. Anitra is very passionate in her work as a licensed marriage and family therapist, educator, and mindfulness practitioner. Anitra began her nonprofit, the FOL Foundation, in honor of her sons. She also runs a small private practice while teaching parent workshops and working as a therapist in Detroit Public School Community District. But her greatest passion is raising her youngest and Earthside son, Nicholas. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Anitra Rice.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Okay, I hope that everyone can hear me okay, because I can't hear you, but that's okay. I'm so excited to be here with you today. Oh my gosh, I wish I could be there with you in person, but okay, great, thank you. I saw that, you can hear me, awesome. I wish I could be there with you in Atlanta in person, but nevertheless, I'm so grateful to be with you right now. And all the speakers before me, it is such an honor to go behind all of you. I was just taking nuggets from everybody. I was taking notes in my phone about the various herbs and everything that Ms. Sage was talking about and teaching about. And then when Tracy spoke so courageously and vulnerably about her loss and her journey into healing. And healing is it's a place and it's a process. It's ongoing and it's continual. So, and I'm very aware of that. But I want to talk to you today about mindfulness and self-care. So when we think about self-care, we think about self-care in so many different ways. We may think about spa days. We may think about what Sage was speaking about really good tea that really helps us and just really nourishes our bodies. We think about maybe a good book and cuddling up with that tea and with a nice blanket or our fur babies. I have two myself. And, mani-pedis, any number of things, right? When we think about self-care. And self-care more recently has taken on this capitalist kind of industry-driven moneymaker, right? But it's more than that. And that's what I want to focus on today. In fact, if we look back in history, self-care goes as far back as Socrates. Did you know that? And with Socrates advocating for attending to oneself. And then with the greatest, Christ, Jesus Christ. And when he said, love your neighbors as you love yourself. So indicative in that statement, in that phrase, is that we have a relationship, a healthy, kind, and compassionate relationship with ourselves. In fact, that would be the impetus for which we begin to love others well. So if we don't have that love for ourselves, it's going to be difficult to love our neighbor as ourselves, or in fact, that's exactly what we'll do. We'll love our neighbors as we love ourselves. Just let that sink in just for a minute, right? So you have Socrates, you have Christ, and now let's move forward to the 1950s in medical literature. And in medicine, you have self-care with predominantly in psychiatry as a way for the treatment and prevention of mental illness back in the 50s. We know that now today, we know that some mental illness is genetic, and some of it, definitely, genetic hereditary. And some of it is because of things that we've experienced in our environment, or, it could be just any number of things that can bring about mental illness. Specifically for my sons, it was things that they had been going through in their lives, many things. And that led to depression, ways of processing their thoughts and things like that, as well as genetics played a role in what some of the things that they were experiencing. But so you have in medical literature, patients, self-care as a way for patients to treat themselves and as preventative measures. So then also, in the 50s and 60s, you have self-care in the civil rights era and the civil rights movement, especially with, and most prominently with, the Black Panther Party, which is like, oh, when I read this and I was researching this, I was like, yes, of course. Because with the Black Panther Party, they were heavily promoting community care, some of the things that we have today as far as community care and taking care of the community by certain resources that was started by the Black Panther Party. And I apologize, it's in my head, but I can't exactly remember the social programs that they did create. When I log off this, it's gonna pop into my head then. But one of the things that they used self-care for was to end systemic racism, which is powerful. And just looking at the history of self-care, we see that self-care has almost been cheapened, if I can say it that way, in modern times. Because in self-care throughout history, it's been more holistic and more personal and more socially driven and taking care of us holistically, right? Now it's more, and it's not to say that some of the things that we have today are not wonderful ways to take care of ourselves, because of course they are, but it's missing some depth to it a lot of times. And so I want to begin to unpack that a little bit today. Okay, so if we define self-care by what I just spoke about the spa days, the mani-pedi, and all of those things, and then looking back in history and attending to oneself. And I love that idea, because when I think about that, I think about boundaries. As a therapist, I think about healthy boundaries, what defines me and what separates me, what differentiates me from someone else, and how boundaries can actually help us to have more peace and to connect more deeply with ourselves and with others. And so, but defining self-care with all of the things I named, with all of the spa ideas and taking care of ourselves with herbs and exercise and all of those things that the ladies before me spoke about. And then we talk about loving yourself as Christ taught us. And we learned about, the ending of systemic racism through self-care and community care, and then a way of prevention. When we think about that, we can just kind of succinctly put all those things together and define self-care as the holistic care of oneself. Simple. But let's unpack that again a little bit more. What would it look like to expand the idea of holistic care to include mindfulness? Mindfulness. And I know mindfulness kind of has like a buzzword a little bit, almost like self-care, but I found that many in our community don't really know what it is. And so I am so honored to be able to share with you in some practices that we can do together today. And so mindfulness is focusing one's attention to the present moment. And in the present moment, it's without judgment. That's the key part right there, without judgment. Because a lot of times when we tune ourselves to ourselves and what's going on with ourselves in the moment, a lot of times we are judging the heck out of ourselves, especially when we're on social media and Instagram with all the big booty promotions and And if you have been so aptly given a big butt, praise God. But for those of us who are on the other side, it can leave us feeling less than if we allow it to, right? Because we're comparing, because in the advertisements, it's like, oh, you must look like this. Otherwise, you won't be desirable, which is not true. And on the flip side of that, if we go back to the 80s, the slender body was with not as many curves were praised. So then back then, women who had more curves and more, fuller hips and behinds, they got the short end of the stick as far as like marketing and advertising is concerned, which is problematic, right? Because no matter what generation you are born into, it's so important for us to be mindful of how we love and like ourselves, regardless to whatever the trend is at any given moment, right? So mindfulness it allows us to be aware of what we are feeling and thinking and our emotions and bodily sensations in the present moment without judgment. And I love when Tracy was speaking because she said, feel your grief, and to be able to do that and in order as a way to begin to heal and move forward. And it's so courageous when we are able to turn towards our emotions and feel them. But the issue becomes when we turn towards our emotions and we feel them, what do we do with that? Right? Because a lot of times it just feels so overwhelming, which is why, and Tracy, I can totally relate. When you turn to food and then with the speaker after you, and gosh, I don't remember your name, and I don't have my notes to look at it, so I apologize. But when you were talking about the health and fitness, and I was paying attention to, I really was. I think I was just into the presentation, but anyway. But turning towards food as a way of comfort, so when we feel these emotions and they're very, very powerful and they are overwhelming, what do we do with that? I'll tell you of a time when I, as my bio said, that I am a double suicide loss survivor. And I remember we lost Josiah, my oldest baby. He was 20 years old. We lost him December 2019. And we lost Jaden, my middle son, April 2021. They were born 18 months apart, but they went into eternity 16 months apart. And I remember at first I had Josiah's picture on my phone as a screensaver, and it was just a way for me to process my baby not being on this earth with us anymore. And then when Jaden passed, I was like, okay, I'm going to put both of their pictures on my phone. And as soon as I did it and I looked down at my phone, it felt like I was literally going to have a heart attack. It's like my breath escaped me. It felt like my heart just seized up, and I shut my phone down. I was like, no, I can't. It's just too much. And it literally felt like I could have breathed my last breath just from the pain alone. So what do we do? What do we do with those painful emotions? What do we do when we turn towards that pain? How do we even process that, right? And I was one, like after Jaden left us, I turned towards food, and I gained 45 pounds in a matter of like a couple of months. Like legit, no lie. By the end of December, I was like 45 pounds overweight, then over my average weight. And at times, honestly, I still struggle with emotional eating, but it's something that I'm constantly working through and constantly learning how to turn towards those emotions and love myself well. So how do we do that? We're going to get into that in just a minute. But before we do that, I want to tell you some of the benefits of mindfulness, okay? So some of the benefits of mindfulness would be a reduction in anxiety, a reduction in depression, a reduction in heart disease. Yes, facts, statistics, true story. Lower blood pressure, an improvement in sleep quality, and stress reduction. So now, how? How do we do this? How do we turn towards our emotions? Well, I would like to invite you into a short and simple practice. This is a poem by Rumi called The Guest House. And I will invite you to close your eyes if you feel comfortable. And if not, that's okay too. I'll just ask you to lower your gaze so that you're not distracted by anything around you in the room, okay? So either lower your gaze or close your eyes and just listen to the words of this poem called The Guest House by Rumi. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture, still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out from some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. If you are ready, you may gently open your eyes or look back up. That poem held so much by way of teaching how to make room for our emotions, how to make room for pleasant emotions and unpleasant emotions, emotions that feel good and emotions that feel really, really painful or just uncomfortable. Every emotion, every feeling can be welcomed as a teacher, as a visitor, and they do clear the way for some unknown treasure. Grief is something that has been tumultuous, and it's so funny because the poem says, welcome and entertain them all, even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still treat each guest honorably. Grief is that. It is that. Burying two sons, or in Tracy's case, two children and a brother. It's heavy. It's heavy. And while at the same time, grief is heavy. And maybe you haven't experienced grief of that magnitude, but maybe you've experienced some other loss or some other pain that was devastating for you. And we're not comparing pain because everyone's pain is their own and everyone's pain is worthy to be looked at with honor and worthy to be held with care and tenderness. So please don't compare your pain to mine or Tracy's or anyone else's. Treat your pain, your discomfort with honor and welcome it in without judgment, without saying, I shouldn't feel this way. Why am I still having pain about this? Stop shoulding on yourself, if I may say that. Because when we do that, we halt the healing process and increase our suffering. So welcome these sorrows. And one of the things that God spoke to me while I was actually grieving Josiah before Jaden passed, it was right after Josiah passed. I was in Florida and I was on a walk. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. But my sister lives in Florida, and I was down there visiting her and her family just as a way of respite. And I was just walking and just noticing the beautiful foliage that's in Florida. And God spoke to me. He said, Anitra, pay attention to that bush over there. And I noticed the leaves were just, they were so pretty. And it's different in Florida than it is in Michigan. So I just love just noticing that. And as I just mindfully paid attention to the flowers and the leaves and all of those things, I felt this deep, deep joy. And the Holy Spirit said to me, Anitra, you have the ability, I will give you the ability to hold deep, deep joy while at the same time you're holding deep, deep sorrow. My sorrow didn't go anywhere, but I allowed myself to feel it. And in so doing, I was also able to feel deep, deep joy. When we allow ourselves the luxury of feeling without judgment, but with care, with compassion, with speaking to ourselves with love and grace and kindness, when we allow ourselves that luxury, we also give ourselves the gift of feeling joy that much more deeply and more powerfully. And likewise, when we do not allow ourselves to feel with loving care and compassion for what it is that we are suffering, it doesn't matter how large or big the suffering is, but turning towards it with love and compassion, because we're suffering, even if in some way it was our fault that some of the suffering has happened, because that happens too to all of us. But turning towards it with the love of God and love of Christ activated towards ourselves, giving that love to ourselves just because it hurts. When we do that and we allow ourselves to feel deeply, we will experience deep, deep joy much more deeply. And if we cut it off, if we turn away from it, if we deny it, if we push it down and try to make it go away, then that we're more likely to begin to engage in maladaptive coping mechanisms. So like overeating or all those things, or some people turn to alcohol or even sex or drugs or all these different things, right? And we are all guilty in some way of doing one of those things. But also what happens is that we also cut off our ability to feel joy and to really, really heal. And moving forward through a loss or a grief or any kind of loss. It can be a divorce, it can be the loss of a job, it can be a loss of anything, any kind at all. Moving forward does not mean that we have forgotten our loved ones, or that we have forgotten any of the blessings of what it was to have the thing that we lost. It means that we're healing and we're moving forward in a new way. And we're creating a new normal for our lives that involves healing and remembering. But the pain will lessen when we allow ourselves to experience our deepest pain through care, through kindness, through mindfulness. That's deep, deep self-care, along with everything else that we learned today. That is deep, deep self-care. It's self-care from the inside out. It's self-care in our spirit. It's self-care in our souls, which will have greater benefit in our physical bodies when we tend to our emotions. Before I close, I want to give you an exercise. This is a compassionate friend exercise. And most often, we treat friends better than how we treat ourselves. And in this exercise, you will need to take out a sheet of paper or something even on your phone. And I don't know if we have enough time to do it now. If not, that's okay. But first, think about times when a close friend, and maybe you can just think about it right now, that's okay too. Think about a time when a close friend feels really bad about him or herself, or is really struggling in some way. How would you respond to your friend in this situation? Especially when you're at your best. How would you respond to this friend? And maybe just think about right now what you typically do. What do you typically say? And note the tone of your voice when you typically talk to your friend. And just think about it for a moment. Just think about it. If you have your phone and you want to take a note in your phone, that's okay. And now, think about times when you feel bad about yourself or you're struggling with something. It could be anything. Maybe going past the point of being satisfied when you're eating and just slightly overeating, or or maybe really, really stuffed, and then noticing that, man, I did it again. Man, I'm really sad and I don't even have time to stop and figure out why, or I'm afraid to stop and figure out why, because if I do, the dam is going to break and I just don't have time for all that. How do you typically respond to yourself in these situations? Write down what you typically do. What do you say to yourself? And note the tone in which you talk to yourself. What are some of the words that you say to yourself? Sometimes people say things to themselves like, girl, get over it. As a therapist, I've heard so many things. Clients call themselves stupid, just all kinds of things, and not have been aware of it until our session. So just take note of that. How do you respond to yourself when you're hurting, when you're struggling with something? And now, notice if there was a difference between your response to a friend and your response to yourself. What was the difference? And if there was a difference, ask yourself why. Just notice it. What factors or fears come into play that lead you to treat yourself and others so differently? A thought may come to your head about something from your past or your childhood or whatever. And just notice it without judgment. When I say without judgment, I mean without labeling it good or bad or whatever, but just noticing it with curiosity and just wondering. In order to really get to the root of healing, it's important that we learn the skill and cultivate the skill of curiosity rather than judgment. Now, finally, you would write down how you think things might change if you responded to yourself in the same way you typically respond to a close friend when you're suffering. And just allow yourself just to, even if you're not writing right now, it's okay, but just maybe even closing your eyes and considering, what might things look like, or what things might change if I responded to myself to my emotions in the same way I typically respond to a close friend when they're suffering. And if your eyes are closed or your gaze is down, maybe even putting your hand to your heart and just noticing what it feels like to feel the tenderness of your own hands. And breathing in deeply into your belly and noticing what it feels like just to breathe. And in closing, just saying some kind words to yourself in this moment. Maybe even calling to mind something that has been difficult for you. And allowing that feeling to be, maybe even naming what that feeling is, what that emotion is. Maybe it's sadness, maybe it's embarrassment or shame or anger or loneliness, and just allowing it to be. And imagining that your hands are allowing just warmth and compassion to go to that part of you that is hurting. And as it does, you're feeling this warmth or comfort, and it's soothing this part of you. And just allow that soothing comfort to be there while the discomfort is there as well. And then noticing maybe what it is that you need in this moment. What is it that you need to hear? And giving yourself those words. It could sound like, this is really hard to feel. I'm so sorry that you're in this discomfort. This is hard, and I love you so much. I'm proud of you, and you can do this. Whatever it is that you need to hear. And telling yourself this not as a way to get rid of the pain, but just as a way to show compassion to yourself just because you're in pain. And just now, allowing whatever feeling or sensation that comes up for you now, just to be there and continue to soften into it and to soothe and to allow. And when you're ready, gently opening your eyes. Thank you, everyone. God bless you. And may you have the power and the courage to turn towards your emotions with love and kindness and heal.
My goodness, Anitra, that was amazing. You gave us literal tools to use, and gave us what mindfulness is and gave us permission to heal and heal well. And so we appreciate you immensely. Um, Thank you so much. You
You're
are
welcome.
wonderful.
Thank you.
So as we move forward, we have one more speaker that I'm going to bring forward. I say this for every speaker, but for real, y'all. I'm so excited about all these speakers. I can't it's really the truth. But before we go forward, we are honored to have community partners and community ambassadors. And so I'm elated that we have with us Minister Arika, who's going to come up real quick and share with us what she has at her table in the back. I really want you ladies, both virtually and in the room, when we're done, to make sure that you go by and take a look at what all the tables have to offer, because you are in for some real treats, as you will see when you're in the back. But before I introduce our next speaker, I wanted Erika to come and just kind of share with us what she has in the back at a very pretty pink table. Y'all can't see it on live, but it's real pretty.
Hello, everyone. My name is Erika. Hello, everyone. My name is Erika. I am grateful to God for the opportunity to be here. Every speaker has truly blessed me. This is Women's Month, the National Women's Month, and I work for a company called Obali. And it started by a young African American woman, and she makes coffee. Has anyone ever heard of the Main Choice hair products? Yeah. She's the founder of the Main Choice. And so she created a place where she is trying to help African American women period, become millionaires. So she has maxi pads, all cotton maxi pads, so that way everything does not sit on the top. It's actually absorbed through the pad. Do we have any coffee drinkers in the house? So I'll definitely give you one, but I'm going to pass out 3 of these. Is anybody in here experiencing any pain in their body? Okay. So I say coffee drinker. So we have a pain. If you're having pain right now, you can put this on your body right now. And I guarantee you, before you leave this place, you won't be in any more pain. But anywhere in your body. I want to give a little testimony. My son had a toothache that he was experiencing. And as I was driving home one day, he had been dealing with this toothache for probably about 2 weeks. Spirit said, try the cream on his face. And I was like, that's weird. He called me and said, Mom, I can't drive home. He had to pull over to the gas station. Went to the gas station with my daughter to get him. Got there, put the cream on his face. I kid you not, it stopped instantly, the pain. It's a hemp cream, and it is absolutely amazing. So we have sleep aids, we have weight loss aids, we have tea, coffee, anything that you want pertaining to a woman. And one of my favorite products that we offer is a vaginal cleanse. Most women, I only use Dove soap before I met Courtney, but we have a vaginal cleanse that has blueberries in it. One of them has raspberries in it, and it helps our bodies. We also have a boric acid vaginal insert that if you're dealing with yeast infections, if you're dealing with UTIs, it helps you as well. So she is really focused on being a blessing to women and help. It's self-health care month, so we need to take care of ourselves. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, how can they connect with you? Those who are online, how can they connect with you?
They can, so if you're on Facebook, you can reach me on Facebook, Erika Snelling at Facebook. But also I have a website that I don't know right now. I think it's erika.snelling@obali.com. You can reach me. I have business cards in the back for the ones that are here. Thank you.
Awesome. And for those online, her name is spelled Aricka. Last name is Snelling. So because I know, I have an unusual name, so I know y'all be typing in, what did she say? This is Aricka is how you'll find her on social media. So listen, the next young lady that we have coming before us, we're talking about it. I'm just let you know we're talking about relationships and intimacy. We're talking about it. And she's going to come from a perspective that we all need to hear. So I am personally, I was about to say fan. What's the word I want? An admirer. That's the word. I am a true admirer of this woman of faith, Dr. Kiba Richmond Green. She is a licensed psychotherapist, published author, international speaker, humanitarian coach, consultant, entrepreneur, and visionary. Being a wife and mother and grandmother are her greatest accomplishments and give her the most joy. This is one of the most genuine people one of the most genuine people I know. I am pleased to present to you Professor Kiba Richmond.
Thank you, as always, Chelsea, one of my favorite people in the world as well. Thank you for having me. My heart is full because I think everybody up here I can relate to, and I believe everybody in the room probably resonated with every speaker that has been up here thus far. Am I correct?
Yes.
Um, from health issues, I've had it all. From weight gain, hormones, menopause, children, almost losing my daughter. I can't relate to that. I lost her 3 times, but God brought her back. Thank God. Um, everything, everything. But when we think about relationships and intimacy, and of course, our most important relationship, it should be with ourselves and with our Father, Holy Spirit, and God. And so, as I was thinking about what would I say today, this has been a trying week. Actually, it's been a trying 3 months for me. It's been a lot. I mean, a lot of blessings, a lot of good things, but a lot of challenges that come with blessings. Am I right? And so they say more money, more problems. I just think more money, more challenges, right? So you have to kind of learn how to stretch yourself in more ways, if that makes sense. So I start with Matthew 27:37-38. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind. And I am paraphrasing. This is the first and the greatest commandment. And of course, the second is to love your neighbor as you love yourself, right? So how can we love God if we don't truly love ourselves? How can you love your partner if you don't truly love yourself? How can I love God and I don't love my spouse or my partner? Do we think about these things? How can I say I love my spouse, my partner, and God, and I love my Father, who is my biological father? Because I believe in order to have a relationship with the Holy Spirit and Father, you have to have a relationship with the Father, the natural Father, right? In some capacity. May not be all kudos and lovey-dovey, but you definitely can't have no resentment and say that you love the Father and respect Him and reverence Him, and you hold off against your neighbor or your loved one. Am I right? Do we think about these things when we say, oh, God is my all, I love Jesus, Jesus, right? Do we think about that when we say that? How do you show up? Because I'm a person that believes how you do anything is how you do everything. So how you do your relationship with your friends, oh, excuse me, yo, just have pineapple juice. How you do your relationship at work, how you treat your work, whether you're independent entrepreneur or whether you work for someone, how you do your relationship with your food, how you do your relationship with your partner, how you do your relationship with yourself. Now, it looks different, right? It looks different, so we think it's different, but it's not, because you're the same person all the time. You cannot split yourself 5 different ways. I don't care how much they talk about cloning. You are not splitting yourself 5 ways and becoming 5 different people. We don't have, some people do have multiple personalities, but I'm gonna say for this sake, we don't in this one, okay? So you are showing up as yourself all the time. And if you're not, then you have imposter syndrome. And I think that can only last about 90 days. That's what I tell people. Because the real you has to come back out eventually. So you got about 90 days of that, and then you got to go back to you. So how are you showing up in your relationships? So intimacy is defined as a close or familiarity or friendship. Excuse me, close familiarity or friendship closeness. The intimacy between a husband and wife is that type of intimacy. Then you have what's called private, cozy intimacy. And then you have what's called an intimate act, where we say physical contact is made or sexual intercourse is made, right? And there's 4 types of intimacy: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. Not all relationships involve all types of intimacy. So I am a firm believer that when God is ready to get your attention, he often brings crisis. So this week I had a lot of crisis. Like a lot of crisis. Like bring you to your knees, throw up your hands, like, for real, Lord, you gonna do it like this? You really want my attention like today? And so personal with my kids and professional with my business. I think this week it all hit me. And so I believe when he wants our attention, he brings crisis. Because what happens in crisis is when we decide that we're going to turn our face back to him. And that's what he requires. It's the same thing in a personal relationship. Usually something is going on, you're going through the motions, and then something happens that stops you in your tracks and say, hold on. Somebody right here, like, dude tripping, he changed up on me, right? Or something right with my child, like I'm noticing something off. So usually crisis makes you stop in your tracks and pay attention. And that's exactly what God does to us. He makes us stop and pay attention. So I want to know, how do you undermine your relationships or build them up? How do you show up? Are you expressing your needs?
No.
Are you apologizing genuinely or at all? Oh, I hear a lot of laughs on that one. That means we ain't apologizing. Redirecting when your partner or someone expresses a concern. Failing to recognize or reciprocate bids for communication or for connection. So when people are telling you, I think it's like Anitra said, like when somebody is saying to you, your friend or someone is saying, I'm hurting, how do you respond? But if your partner is saying, I'm hurting, do we even pay attention? Or do we ignore them? Oh, they just get on my nerves. He just wants some attention. I'm not in the mood. Well, you tell your child, go sit down. I'm tired. I've worked all day. I don't want to hear it. But aren't those people pulling you for attention and connection? Are you able to stop and pay attention to that? Or are you too caught up in yourself? So those questions are ways that we either undermine our intimacy and relationships or we build them up. So the question is, how do you express your needs? Do you yell and scream after being frustrated because you're not getting what you need and you're not being heard? Or are you able to calmly ask for what you need? Do you apologize genuinely? And if so, do you forgive, or do you hold it and keep it in the back pocket so you can bring it back up when necessary? Even for yourself, like Anitra said, I want you to put yourself first. Because again, how you show up for them is how you showing up for you. Redirecting. Yeah, I know that happened. And what had happened was, yeah, I saw that, but I wasn't even thinking about that. And again, failing to recognize and reciprocate connection. We are so social media focused. We are so on our phone. We are so going at 2,000 miles an hour. I can attest. You see, I got a computer back there working. I'm on somebody's clock right now. Don't tell them.
Get off the camera.
You see what I'm saying? We're it's 24 hours in the day and feel like 5. Literally, I think I just told somebody the other day I need 17 more hours in this day. I can get it done. What y'all think? So we are so focused on so many of the wrong things, if I could say that we're not present with ourselves or the people that matter. And I am almost positive that the families who have spoken today, the mothers who have lost their loved ones, could just say, just give me 5 more minutes. We take so much for granted, even in ourselves. Think about, like she said, with the food and the health. It takes us getting sick, literally having to have needles put in you and going to the doctor for you to stop and pay attention that I can't eat like this no more, that I got to get up and move, that I got to drink some water. Like, please drink some water, people. I don't know why people don't drink water. I'm sorry, that's a tangent for me. Like, my husband don't drink water. My mother, I literally look at them like, why y'all don't stink? It should be coming out your pores. Like, drink some water, people. It's so needed. We are 75% made up of water. You need it. Anyway, that's my tangent. So, what is it going to take for you to love you the way that God loves you? What is it going to take for you to show up for you? Because when you show up for you, then you can truly show up for others. Right now, we're just doing surface showing up. We just think about it when somebody say, how you doing? I'm fine. We don't even think about it. We just automatically, I'm fine. How you really doing? Hey. We so on autoimmune. We such a robot. We're zombies, literally. That's why they made that show Walking Dead. We're zombies. I have never watched one episode, but I'm just saying. We're walking around and we're not present. I tell my clients who have anxiety, I believe that anxiety and depression are from tenses, right? So I believe depression is you're living in the past, worried about the future. You're not present. Anxiety is you're worried about the future, living in the past. You're not present. So you having panic attacks because you're worried about what's going to happen.
That's true.
You depressed because you can't get over what did happen or what you think should have happened. And you're not present. So we missing life because we're not present. And then you want to know why you on every pill and every therapist couch. Because we're not present. Do you even pay attention to the flowers? I remember when I was in my master's, I was literally in a zone. You had to be. You know, I was going to school, I was working 40 hours, I had 2 kids, 2 teenagers running me, married, trying to keep up with the house. I don't remember anything. And I told them about 10 months, I got to do this intern, and don't ask me for nothing. I don't exist for 10 months. And all I'm doing is sleeping here, literally. When I get up, I got to go. Actually, go talk to him. I don't remember anything. When I finally graduated and took some time, I started driving and realized, you ever been there? That's true. You miss it all, just running.
Right.
Who said I was guaranteed them 10 months? Thank God for it. But you see what I miss, and we don't enjoy the process because we're so busy trying to get to the end goal. What are the steps to get there? Everybody want to be rich. Everybody want to be famous. Everybody want to be social media influencer. What are the steps to get there? It's the process that we were supposed to enjoy. We miss out on the process because we so worried about getting to the end goal. And then we get there and look up and wonder, where do people go? What happened? What? Why this didn't work? Why that didn't work? And you got to sit down with yourself and realize you weren't present. They left. They dropped off. Some of them for good, some of them for bad. How are you going to show up for yourself in your relationship with you? This is a journey. This is not a race. Personally, I have been on many journeys on this route. I moved to Georgia in 1998, going through a divorce, 2 small kids. I cried every day for 2 years, going back and forth to work. 2 years I cried. I was distraught, like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know how I'm gonna make it. I ain't got enough money. I was a mess. I had never been on my own. I had to come and grow up, y'all. I was in a whole Joseph Pitt experience. Do y'all hear me? Like, I was having panic attacks because I was trying, I don't know how I'm gonna feed my kids. I don't know how to pay my bills. 2 years, up and down that road, I cried every day going to work. And finally, I realized one day I stopped crying. I had grown a little bit. You know, okay, you got this, girl. You did it. You made it. For 2 years, you made it by yourself. Because I was determined I would not meet another man in the same pants. Because I was the common denominator. And I had to figure out what I was doing wrong to keep meeting this man in the same pants. So I had to do some work on me. But it first took being intimate with myself. I had to have a relationship with myself. So then I started the journey of dating. I was like, I would never get married again. I don't give a doggone. If I do, we're going to have a duplex. Because I need my space, right? And I mean, y'all know it don't never work out like that, right? Fall in love and be like, how'd I get here? I said I would never get married again. So I get married. It's 20 years now, right? Thank God. And so through the journey and over the what they say, over the trees, through the forest or whatever we go, we here now. Through the woods. And with many, many tears, but so much joy, I can say I made it. But it starts with a relationship with yourself. I have never fit in. Never. Ever. I've always wanted to fit in. Just never fit in. It's always been different. Always been oddball. Even in my family, I don't dress like nobody. I don't talk like I don't act like them people. I love them, but I don't act like them. And to them, I'm just weird. And once I embrace that weirdness, I'm good now. But for a long time, that messed me up because I could never fit in. I'm like, I'm always the weird one. But I'm good now. I don't want you to take 50. Like we tell our kids, I don't want you to be 50 years old getting it like me. But sometimes it may take that. It may take that. So I'm going to leave you with this. God desires for us to live a life of obedience and intimacy. Meaning we obey his laws from a place of love and devotion. During the crisis phase, we discover the personal love of God in our lives, which we have never experienced before. That's the intimate place he wants with us. That's the intimate place he desires that you give to him. If If you've never felt it, ask him for it. What do you say? Peace that succumbs everything, right? Peace that just all understand, right? It makes no sense in chaos why I'm in peace. You just can smile and walk through it. Only he can give you that kind of joy. Don't we all desire that joy? Don't you want that for yourself? Take some time for yourself to be intimate with yourself. Love on you. We've all said it today. I think everybody up here has said about self-care. Love on you. What does that mean though? For you. Not just the nails and the pedicure. Like, do you spend quiet time? Most people can't even sit in the quiet. Because I say the quiet is so loud. So they'd rather have noise on, TV on. How many of y'all sleep with the TV on? Yeah, it's trauma. That's a trauma-related behavior. Sit in silence, cut the light off, and just sit with yourself. And listen. Everything that you desire, he wants to give it to you. But you have to be still to hear it. I think that's it. I hope you have a better understanding of how to love you before you can love anybody. I mean, even your child. And we love them in infinity, right? But if they see you not loving you, they see it. Thank you, Chelsea.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's give it up again for all of the ladies who have been with us. I'm telling you, understanding the importance of relationship and personal intimacy, understanding how important it is to get, like, as she said, get in that place where you can be still and quiet and just be still and quiet and listen to yourself. A lot of times you all have experience either on your job or maybe going to maybe a conference or something where it tells you to tell us something about you. Maybe you've had to at work write a self-assessment, or maybe you've had to talk about yourself in a positive way. And do you know how hard that is to do? You can be asked to do that for someone else. Tell me about someone else, and you can write it up for them, and before you know it, it's done. But then they say, tell us something about what's good about you. Tell us about you. And you're like, well, give me a couple of days. A couple of days. But because we are our worst critics. So I'm elated. I wanted to let you guys also know, earlier this year, I released a book called The Metamorphosis, The Miracle of Becoming Me. And in this book, I really kind of talk about a portion of my journey. And it talks about what a metamorphosis is. You know, what a butterfly becomes a butterfly because it has to go through pain. The caterpillar just doesn't go in a cocoon and come out, a beautiful butterfly without going through some pain. And so in this book, which is available in the back, you'll have access to that. As we wrap up, I just wanted to kind of share with you just a little bit as we close out. At the beginning, I talked about how we have that crown. We sometimes wear that crown of queen. And although, as I said earlier, it sounds nice. It really does sound nice. Hey, queen, yes, queen. Which is nice. And it's meant as a term of endearment. But when our reality sets in, when we realize we literally are living the life of a queen, not in the royal palace, but one of a matriarchal stance where you have to call the shots of everything. Don't nobody know how to do nothing without you. Don't nobody know how to find nothing without you. Don't nobody know where nothing is without you. Things don't run well without you. People don't sleep well without you. Those of you who are married, you know, you got to, well, yeah, you can't sleep well without you. All these things are that, and that crown gets heavier and heavier and heavier. So you think about it, when we are little girl, when we babies, no gender, just babies are born. They're so cute and cuddable and squishy and fat, and we just love them. They smell so good, we just love them. And one of the first things we get for the baby girl is a baby doll. We're teaching her when she is a little, and I had one. I had a baby alive. You couldn't tell me nothing about my baby alive. But we when we are little, we taught to nurture. Forget about the fact that it's already part of us, that it was born in us, because we were born nurturers, right? Physically, we were born to nurture, right? No, we get baby dolls and give them to them. I have a picture of my daughter, who in the picture it's so cute. She got her little baby doll with a big old head and the big old eyes up on her arm. She got a pacifier in her mouth, and it's so cute. And it was cute because she was a cute kid. I'm just saying. But what we do is with our daughters, we give them everything at the beginning that points to responsibilities. Now for our boys, we'll give them balls. We'll give them teddy bears. I'm talking about babies. Now we haven't got to the toddler stage. We'll give them nice little squishy little toys that make noise and all. And then when they get to the toddlers, we're giving them action figures and little trucks and Legos. Little girl, she gets things for her. She got a baked, what do you call it? East baked oven. Right. She gets a stroller for the baby. She gets all the things that goes with the little doll, that the milk that comes out that looks like the baby's drinking. Then you get a little baby alive. Then you get a little older. Now she gets a family because Barbie now has a husband with Ken. So now you got Barbie and Ken in a house. So now you got furniture. Meanwhile, your son over here has got Play-Doh. Where she is taught how to already wear a crown that she wasn't even ready for. We've given her baby dolls. We've given her all the things that make her be a homemaker, a mother. But we've given our sons Tonka trucks. We've given our sons things that, guess what? Are toys. We actually get the boys toys. What a novel idea. They get toys? We get the girls' responsibilities and the boys get toys. Get out of here. When I was little, we used to have, I couldn't wait for it too. Ooh, y'all don't even know. I couldn't wait for that Toys R Us catalog to come. But before the Toys R Us catalog, along with it, I guess, JCPenney had a holiday catalog. What you talking about?
Don't forget Finger Hut.
Come on. Well, Finger Hut just was going in your pocket and just saying, here. So if you all are familiar with these catalogs, girl section, boy section, not a toy section. Even with Toys R Us, which by its name, Toys R Us, had boy toys, girl toys. The girls are getting fitted for a crown that's heavy. And it's marketed to us. So now when we get to be in high school and college and go off to be adults, no one has told us that we don't have to carry that crown around with us. So now we're in corporate America trying to climb a ladder that has oil on it, because every time we try to go up, we slip back down. Not because we're not equipped, not because we don't know how to do the job, because clearly we did, because if every woman just in this room alone stop doing what you do every day, I don't care what it is that you do, everything will shut down. And that's just women in this room. So it's not that we aren't equipped. It's not that we don't have the intelligence. It's not that we don't have the passion. It's not that we don't have the education, because we are the most educated people on this planet, truth be told. Whether it is in education, through knowledge, through education, or knowledge through life. But it is because there has been engrafted in society that this is how it's supposed to be. And so here we are, adults walking around carrying a crown that we didn't ask for. But now the crown that we really have, the one, not the crown that we'll receive when we leave here, that has been promised to us by our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. The crown that we're supposed to be wearing now, as I told you earlier, is the crown of a princess, because that crown of a princess fits right. It doesn't have too many stones that are heavy, but it fits right because we are daughters of the Father. And as such, the Father takes care of his children. And so there are things that I can ask for as a daughter of the Father that I don't have to stand in a position of want or lack in the sense of not to say that we won't go through certain things, because even a father has to teach lessons. But as a princess, I know that I am afforded certain things. If I do this, then this will happen. Much like us in our own households with our children, if you keep your room clean, then you will be rewarded. If you do your chores, then you will be rewarded. If you are obedient, then you'll be rewarded. If you follow the word of God, then you will be rewarded. But then here we are being told from the womb that we have to wear a crown that is too heavy for us to bear. So most recently, I did hear, but most recently I was in a mentoring session, and the speaker brought forth something I had never thought about, learned, known, or any of that. Many or most of us have heard when Bishop Jakes taught years ago, and it's still going on, but we know, woman thou art loosed, right? We've heard it. But, oftentimes we might not really know the scripture behind it. The woman who was bent over for 18 years. Now, in that being bent over, I want you to visualize it. And when the woman of God gave this example, it really struck to me, because the woman wasn't just bent over or even humpback, as maybe we have seen in our lifetimes. But her condition was such, the Bible says she was bent over. If a person is bent over, they have a crippling, they are bent over. So now I cannot function in the role that I cannot function without the help of someone else. I need someone else to help me do the basic things in life, because I'm seeing things from a position of being face down. Interesting in this story, and in the Bible, the Bible talks about this, that Jesus went and healed this woman on the Sabbath, which of all the things that people could have been angry about in that scripture, they were angry that they healed a woman on the Sabbath. Y'all didn't see her. Wait a minute, she was just bent over. She's now up and praising God, but y'all worried about what day I did it on? Okay, worried about the wrong thing. The interesting thing about this, to me, was not only the fact that this miracle took place, and this woman who had suffered for 18 years of people talking about her being in excruciating pain because her spine didn't line up, being in excruciating pain because now her body is bent over and she's having to depend on other people for the most basic of things. Humiliated, talked about, looked at, scorned, scoffed, can't really do for herself for 18 years. Being in a position where nobody really understands what I'm going through because everybody else is in a different position than me. What stood out to me in that particular scripture was this was a woman. This was the last act of miracle. This was the last act of ministry that Jesus performed on this earth before he went to the cross, was healing a woman. The last thing he did before he was taken to the cross was not feeding the multitude, was not walking on water, was not even healing a woman with issue of blood. But it was this woman who was bent, hurt, distraught, talked about, in a position where she had to trust other people, where she didn't even know she could trust them because she couldn't even see them. When you're in a position of being bent over, your point of view is different. Your vantage point is different. But here this woman is in a place where Jesus is, and his last act of ministry goes against what people in that particular time said he should have been doing. She could have come the day before or day after. But was it that day? On that day, he healed her as she rejoiced. The last thing that our Savior did in an act of ministry and miracles before he went to the cross speaks volumes of what we are carrying now. Because what is it that you are experiencing that God is just waiting for you to get to the point where I'm gonna come out of? I know it's uncomfortable. It hurts. I don't like this. I don't like this. What is it that's gonna cause God to move for you when it seems uncommon? When it seems like it shouldn't even be taking place? When it doesn't even seem like there should be a healing that takes place in a room on Cumberland Parkway in the middle of a Saturday afternoon? What is God going to do for you? Because here's the thing, my desire, my prayer, my hope is that this is not just something where we come together and we just come and get information and leave out and say, that was good, and do nothing with it. That was good. I like what she said, such and such, and then it leaves out of the parking lot when you leave out. Because what I want to happen is from the time that Candy got up until this moment right now, that there's something that you take with you that is tangible, that you keep with you, that you know how to be mindful, that you know how to work on relationships, that you know how to put yourself in a position where you can be healed, that you know how to get in and know how to build a spiritual relationship, that this is not just another time when you got in your car and went somewhere but you leave out of here taking action to walk towards your healing. That's why we're here. We do this annually, not because it looks good on the calendar. We do this because we want to make an impact. We don't want, if we're talking about being healed, mind, body, and spirit, let's really do that. Let's do the work that it takes in order for us to be whole and heal well. Not just heal, but heal well. Not just say, I'm healed, but you still got a little bit of a scab left. No, heal well. Not just say, I'm healed in words, but then go home and sit and rock yourself because I just said that I don't feel no different. But really be healed. That, my beautiful sisters, is my prayer for you. And so I am Chelselia Cookie Payne. I am so happy that you guys are here with us. I thank God for my beautiful production manager, Keisha Way of Keisha Way. I want to say Keisha Way Productions. That was all. I'm going to give you a new business. KeishaWay.com. But I tell you what, I'm telling you, if you have an organization, if you have a church or ministry, she's great at what she does up here, but y'all need to hear her speak. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm talking to them. You're welcome. I'm thankful for each one of my speakers. I'm thankful for all of you, the guests that are here, those of you who are online. I am so appreciative because you could have been anywhere on a Saturday morning, a windy Saturday morning, but Saturday morning, but you are here and you're getting something. I want you to be sure to go by Candy's table and Tanika's table and Kylie's table. Kylie back there just waving. I want you to go by Erika's table. I want you to go by my table. You should get a t-shirt because listen, I'm just saying, this is not just about t-shirt, but what it says. But I thank you all. Listen, all this beauty that you guys see, I don't know if y'all saw the out front. You should have taken pictures in front of out front. Listen, it is all because of 2-1 events right here, Felicia Johnson, all the listen, y'all, be sure that if you take pictures, please be sure to tag us. I want to see your post. I want to see what you guys are sharing. Be sure to tag us in the post. But listen, I love y'all. I really do. And be sure to, like I said, go by and check out each of the tables and have the most amazing Saturday. And let's heal well. Say it with me. Heal well. Yes. Thank you.